Welcome to the Big Week in Gaming podcast. And what do you know? It's been a big week in gaming for this special episode on the 9th of January 2022. I'm Integot, and we'll be covering Swinny's Kemco RPG tier list. Swinny, no mic?
Yes, no mic. He had business to attend to. I think that was just an excuse. He knew that at some point we were going to have to fit this bloody Kemco RPG tier list in. So we thought, why not? Let's do it while the wild one is away. Let's get down to business.
Let's do it. I feel like, can we even play the intro song now? Because I feel like I've missed the window.
You can play it. Come on.
All right, let's play the song. Let's play the song. And we are calling this a half episode. So this is 67 and a half, I believe. So we play our normal intro song.
Shut up! Big Wig's on the radio! Shut up! It's gaming focused audio!
That's right. And if you want to support the show, jump on social media, jump on bigwigpod.com. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. What else do we have? YouTube, Twitch, anything you want.
Spotify,
subreddit. No, we don't have the subreddit. Patreon. So this is a very special episode, Swinny. No mic. We're going back to the original lineup.
Yeah, it's going to be so much more boring. I'm sorry.
I'll have to be the crazy one instead of Mike, which always worries me.
You're going to have to be something in this episode because it's going to be a lot of Swinny in this episode. So I apologize. I just want to apologize way up front for anybody expecting a normal episode where we actually cover like the topics of the week and features. Like, that's not going to happen. We're going to be talking a lot about budget RPGs.
It has been a light week. News-wise, definitely want to talk about PSVR 2, so we'll hold that off to next week. But outside of that, I don't think there was anything else that we wanted to add. So
we were going to cover Donkey Kong Country 2 as part of our Game of Some Other Year, but Mike is the most important person for that feature because he was actually going to be running that feature, and as I mentioned at the top of the show, he has business to attend to. So
yeah, getting COVID.
He could not be. No, I don't think he has COVID yet, but he likely will by the end of the night.
So Mike just joined the chat. Kemco list, and I'm missing out.
He's lucky. Yeah, so we're going to be ranking 36.
No. Can we say not we? You are going to be ranking. I'm not playing one king.
You're going to be helping me to rank these 36. There's going to be a couple of games where I don't know where to put them, so I'm going to get your opinion on where to place them.
Okay.
Even though you have no experience whatsoever with any of these 36 games.
I've seen the B-roll of all of these games.
Yes, and probably I mentioned as well off air that pretty much all the EXE Create games, I'll explain who they are, probably start the exact same way with it's scanning across a world map with with like plot text appearing. So a lot of the B-roll will be the same. Here's a 2D world map with some
awesome
plot text coming up. But look, this is something, it was a crazy idea that I'm like, oh, imagine if I ranked all the Kemco RPGs, ha ha ha. And then Integot, you're like, yeah, let's do it. Like your eyes lit up more than anything probably in the whole like 68 episodes we've done. And I think that's just because you love a good shitpost, and this is like shitpost in long form style. So.
I feel like can we just guesstimate, because we don't know how long this will go. We're just doing it as long as it takes. I think this will take 2 hours and 40 minutes.
I don't know, but don't think it's going to take that long.
Okay,
it's definitely going to be over an hour.
Yeah.
So 36
games. 36 games.
There's 36 games. I'm not going to go in depth on all of them. Some that I'll spend a bit more time because they're worth it. But also just, I'll explain who Kemco are in a second, but what I want to say is, I guess, who should and shouldn't watch this, or I guess, like, who's going to get value out of this tier list?
No.
So, obviously, I will get value. Like, I want to do this because I actually love a lot of these games, and, it's cool to talk about them. I don't think this is, as much as people wouldn't probably be surprised, this is probably not for hardcore Kemco enthusiasts, because I'm probably going to shit on a lot of their favorite games. Now, I I actually like a lot of these games, and I have fun playing through the ones that are even a bit crappy. But honestly, there's a lot that I can't even remember. I re-downloaded all 36 games yesterday, loaded them up. Yeah, there we go.
Here we go.
And I'm like,
on the video, if you're listening on the audio podcast, we've got the tier list, so you can check it out on YouTube.
yeah, I got to remember that. Got to remember to explain where I'm placing them. But
Yeah, it's very critical.
yeah, I know. But I'm like, oh, this is the one with the robot boy. Oh, this is the one with the slime girl. Like, I had to remember, and also just check out was there anything unique in their battle systems that is worth calling out? So I don't think it's for the hardcore Kemco enthusiasts because, hello RPGinsanity.com if anyone finds a way from there, simply because there's a lot of games that I think are pretty trash, but they've got some fun to them. It's definitely also not for listeners of the podcast because as much as some people might enjoy it, and that's where you come into play, Indigo, I think you're going to play the part of everyone else.
The everyday man.
Like,
I'm like the Chris Pratt of the show.
why the hell, outside of achievements, why the hell would anybody ever play these games? To me, the people that it's for are the Kemco curious.
Kim Curious.
The curious. The people on the fence. These are the people that they see this game in like the Nintendo eShop and like, oh, that's cool. I like SNES era RPGs. Kemco. Oh, I've never heard of them. I'm going to Google who Kemco are. What the hell? There's dozens of these things. Like they release so many games. Are they all RPG Maker style games? Like, it's those people that see a game that actually looks pretty neat in the shop, but not actually sure if it's worth putting down like 20, 15, sometimes I'll drop below, but generally $20, $25 on them, right? So to me, that's why, even in the description of YouTube, I'm like, which of these are actually worth playing, or worth potentially buying, So that's what this tier list I think is worth it. Out of all of these 36, are there any that people should actually play?
And we do have a lot of controversy when we do tier lists, especially with you, because you have very distinct taste.
Well, I've done the only other
I know, that's
official. We did. Well, actually, no. So we did E3 presentation tier list. So technically, we've done two. We did.
And so we've already made it really clear in this tier list that if there's any feedback, direct it Mike at bigwigpod.com. He, he will love to hear from you. So direct it at him.
And I mentioned it earlier, but I think the only other potential people that would get value out of this entire video is people that love a good shitpost.
Yeah,
people that
I'll like it.
Yeah, so I literally put bracket integot next to that category of people.
So we've already spent about 10 minutes, like on a 2 hour and 40 show I'm predicting. So do you want to jump into it?
Yeah, so I just want to quickly explain who Kemco are. I'll make it pretty quick. For anyone that doesn't know, they've probably heard the name before, but they can't remember where. They've been around 38 years, since 1984. That's a very monumental year for reasons I won't get into, but they've been around a long time. Started making games for the NES, so they're a Japanese-based, developer. They opened a USA office in early 2000s, but it closed it, a few years later. Originally mainly known for their, as I mentioned, NES, but the SNES, Game Boy, N64 games, and one of the big series for them was publishing Top Gear series. Top Gear 64 and the SNES games and stuff like that. But a whole bunch of other things. But around since 2010, they pivoted, and a little bit earlier, but they pivoted to mobile RPGs for their business model. A lot of them as well. So that's where a majority of these games come from. They're originally mobile games, but they did start porting them to the 3DS. And then a couple of years ago, they started really porting quite a lot to the PlayStation, Xbox, and the Nintendo Switch. So I've played all of these on the Xbox, and I'll get into the criteria of what is going to be included and what isn't. And yeah, I'll just say that even they've made so many games that even the people on Wikipedia have given up trying to list them. I probably need to jump on there because I'm probably the most knowledgeable person that plays these games outside the RPG Insanity community. And I've completed, and Integot's going to probably get into this a bit, but I've completed all of these games 100%, so achievement-wise. So I feel that I can talk to them, even though I've forgotten literally half of them.
Because one just came out, right?
One literally came out 2 days ago, and I actually started playing it today. So I did
Oh.
actually, yes, but it's not. I'm not going to include it because I'm literally like an hour in. So
And someone did actually already 100% it, right?
yeah, they've already
That's
completed it,
crazy.
so. Look, these games, there's certain games. I'll explain this now, actually. So these games aren't made by Kemco that we're going to be talking about. They're made by smaller developers that are obviously, I don't know if they're owned or they're just, contracted, likely just contracted. And so the most prolific is EXE Create. So you'll hear that name a lot in this because the majority of these games, out of the 36, I think it's 26 of these games are made by EXE Create. So if you've ever thought, oh, Kemco, these games are like RPG Maker clones of themselves and stuff, it's likely because you've seen an EXE Create game because they all look very similar, or a majority of them. There's a few that look different. And they all have very similar systems. They're all, they're very similar to each other. Finding the differences is pretty tough sometimes. The second most notable is Hit Point. So they'll come up quite a bit. They make 8 of the games on this list. And what I've done, I've color coded them as well, so that when you see them in the tier list, we can actually see who's making the more quality games out of these developers. And there will be also 2 games from a company called Ridian Japan, or Ridian, I'll just call them. So they're the 3 developers we'll be talking about.
Nice.
So in terms of what games are considered, so these have to be Kemco published role-playing games. And I'm only going to be covering games that have been released on the Xbox One or Series X. So no older Kemco RPGs, no games like, Spy vs. Spy, Top Gear, or anything like that. No platforms, literally Kemco RPGs, and they're from the modern lineup. I played, I'm ranking the console versions, nothing to do from the mobile versions. I've never played any of them. And I will upfront say that I did purchase the majority of the Easy Mode DLC for these, because I generally play these games for the love of achievements, although I enjoy playing the games themselves as well. So I like being able to, have a nice relaxing... These are my relaxing games. I don't want to sit there having to strategize too much about how to beat a tough boss. Just be like, I purchased the 2 times damage DLC and the 3 times experience DLC, even though you probably don't need them. I'm a sucker, so...
Fair enough.
Yeah. But that's pretty much the games will be the 36 games.
Awesome. And what I won't leave this for you to do, Swinny. This is something I added in for the tier list, because I did notice with the Assassin's Creed tier list, which is the infamous tier list, that people did not realize, or maybe it wasn't emphasized enough, that you'd actually finished 100% of pretty much all of the Assassin's Creed games. So the context here is like, why listen to Swinny? Why listen to Swinny on this? Well, if you're talking about worldwide people who have actually beaten Kemco RPGs, like as far as True Achievement ranks it, you rank 2nd in the world for beating all the Kemco RPG games?
Yeah.
And then like just RPGs in general, completing RPGs, you rank 2nd in the world in True Achievements. So number 1 in Australia, obviously. And then also with over 1 million, which is recent. Congrats. Clap, clap, clap. True Achievement score, 1 million True Achievement score, and 500,000 gamer score. So we're dealing with a professional here, people. This is basically a second job for Swinny.
I earned that 1 million True Achievement score by beating Justice Chronicles, a game we're ranking on this list. So I represented Kemco as part of that milestone. Oh, why are we doing this? This is
so
insane.
if you're going to try to find anyone, this is the man to do a tier list. So do you want to jump into it?
Let's do it. Let's jump in. Let's show the tier list.
Awesome.
God, where do we start? Oh
so we have the tier list. We have Mike at Big Wig Pod for all feedback and commentary. There are no dislikes on YouTube. We don't look at them, so we don't care if you dislike this video. And here's all the games. So what is our first game, Swinny?
Why are we doing this? Okay, all right. Let's move on. Let's start with... We're going to go Alpha here.
Yeah,
We're starting with Alphadia Genesis. Now, this is a fairly early EXE Create game from what I can tell, but I could be wrong. Again, don't hit me up. I don't care with this tier list, to be honest. But the reason why I feel that is because it's missing a lot of the quality of life features that I know a lot of their games actually have. And when you're blasting through these games and beating them as quick as you want trying to do, you miss those quality of life features. It has a 3D battle system, and it looks actually pretty all right graphically in that regard. But one of the biggest crimes these games can do, and there's a few of them, is they don't have any mini maps, no dungeon mini map. And when you've got these dungeons that are just like big mazes, there's no mini map. That sucks, absolutely sucks. It's actually one of the better stories for Execrate. It's like ethics of humans living alongside clones. It's actually not bad for once. And the character Ena, she actually shows up in a lot of future games in the Execrate, so actually pretty important there. But honestly, this is a pretty standard JRPG, pretty average, but not horrible. So I'm going to put this... Where are we? For now, I'm going to chuck this in...
For now.
No, as in, not for now, but as in, like, position-wise, I'm just going to chuck it there. When I say for now...
D tier.
D tier. So...
Now, can I run color commentary on this? So
Yes.
I'm already nervous for this EXE Create company, this developer crew, where you kind of almost said that the story is not a bad one. So I'm nervous for them if this is already D tier.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, let's get to the sequel. Let's get to Alphadia Genesis 2.
Let's do it.
So this game actually has more quality of life features. So that's actually, pretty important here. And the gameplay, visuals, it's all slight improvement, but it's still pretty average. So I don't really have much more to say about this one. So,
I can't even put the B-roll up on this one.
Well,
It looks so different from the first one.
it's again another world map. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to chuck this. I'll chuck it just behind because I don't think the story is as good. So I think gameplay wise, it's probably a little bit better, but I think the story of the first game was actually much better. So,
Oh, okay. Yep. Okay, cool.
Okay. Oh my God, why are we doing this?
Oh, you're flying through this now, I realize.
Well, there's some games I'm going to talk a bit longer about. So
Okay.
You'll notice there's a lot of EXE Create games that I just don't have a lot to say because
There's only 26 of them.
Look, I guess I didn't explain. These are all turn-based JRPGs, right?
Yeah.
So that's what you're going to get. But they're decently made. But when I say it's decent, it's average. It's a pretty standard trope-ridden JRPG, with a decent battle system. So, all right, number 3, Alvastia Chronicles. This one's actually very different visually now. Again, it starts with the panning across the world
all
map
the B-roll's
and
going to
the
be like
text.
this.
But visually, it's actually very different. So whereas a lot of other EXE Creates games issue kind of like a 16-bit SNES era, this is actually like very retro NES style graphics, Alvastia Chronicle. So this one's actually super unique because you've got like about 100 different companions you can go around the world recruiting. Whereas the previous games we talked about, they're just like 4 party members. This actually is kind of Chrono Cross style. You go around recruiting party members or Suikoden, and you've got to like meet different criteria to recruit them. And
That's cool.
And it's got a different kind of battle system in the sense that you've got teams and you've got leaders of those teams. So it's like you have like a leader and 3 different like sub party members. So you can see graphically it's very different. And it's kind of like your Dragon Quest classic Final Fantasy. But honestly, and I'll say it's got like each of these recruits have jobs and you combine the different you basically combine jobs to create different things called bonds that give you passive buffs and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So there's some cool stuff going on. But honestly, I don't remember liking this game very much as I've just talked about some cool stuff. It's just like ultimately, if it's not as a fun experience and the story is not very engaging, I'm not going to rank it too high. But at least it's unique in its systems and its visuals. And I quite like the sprite art that they use. So I'm going to rank Alvastia Chronicles. Let's put this actually. I don't like this as much as Alphadia Genesis game, so I'm going to put this in the E tier.
Oh, I would have thought it would have been their C tier. That's interesting.
Oh,
Controversy, early controversy.
No, like just because a game is unique doesn't mean I enjoyed it that much. So Alvastia Chronicles also, I think, I could be wrong, was an early Game Pass edition for Kemco. They haven't had many of the games added in, so a lot more people probably played that one than others.
I'm so
right.
glad that I did 7-point scale, given the heavy weighting at the bottom already.
Look, you'll see how it plays out.
Okay.
I will also say that all the like alphabetically, all this stuff skews in like the first half of the alphabet. So if we're only up to like M, and you're like, oh my god, this is still going. There's not most of them are like A's and stuff like that. So
All right, we'll see.
all right, Antiquia Lost. All right, now let me just remind myself what the hell.
This is like a meme now. I love
You're gonna notice this a lot. I made notes on these games, but I still have to remember, especially EXE Create. Again, all 4 of these so far have been EXE Create. Like trying to remember exactly what the differences were between them. This one, it's pretty middle of the road, but it had some funny stuff. So you've actually got a party member that's a slime, like a slime waifu that you level up. You
like
feed
a slime from Dragon Quest.
yeah, but
Like
like
a level
in,
1 slime. Shout
but
out.
yeah, but in girl form, so she's a slime
Oh,
waifu.
slime girl.
And it leads to really inappropriate jokes and stuff.
Didn't know they
but,
had a gender, by the way, but okay, let's roll with it.
But and there's like I can never say that word, like anthro characters.
Say it
like
again.
Weird. No, I'm not anthropomorphic. There we go.
Oh, damn it!
I got
You
it.
succeeded, damn it.
Lots of furry bait, and
Furry bait.
yeah, there's a couple of games in the list like that. So, yeah, look, there's some funny jokes in this. So this one gets a little bit of a boost because of some funny jokes, but I still don't think this is that great. I'm
No.
gonna chuck this in E tier, but I'm gonna put it ahead of Alvastia because it's a bit funny. It's a
okay.
bit more memorable.
Fair enough.
So.
Fair enough.
Okay, next game. Our first non-EXE
Yay.
Create game. So we're not going to see the same generic B-roll. If this starts with a world map and stuff, I'm going to be annoyed because it's not EXE Create. So what does the B-roll have for us, Larry?
Well, what's the name of the game?
Emeth. Oh, did I not say that?
Oh, look, no, you
Sorry.
didn't. Oh, look at that.
Did-
This is great. This is like totally different B-roll. This is for all the audio listeners. We're playing the intro to every single game.
So Emeth is developed by Hitpoint, not EXE Create. And Hitpoint, this is a pretty recent game that I played. It came out the start of last year. I think it was start of last year, but it was definitely sometime last year. I actually played this during the break of our podcast, and so I didn't get a chance to really talk much about this game. This game is an absolute banger. This game is awesome. Like, I'm no joke. But this is the game when we talk about, Kemco, like, it's a Kemco game and stuff. This is the game that defies that reputation. Its setting is just really unique. It's like a bit of a Western sci-fi setting, kind of like, what's that show?
Westworld?
Not Westworld, the one where
I like a Western sci-fi future. It's
no,
like the best.
Firefly. Show, Firefly. That's what I'm talking about.
I like how I'm guessing these.
Yeah. So I was thinking Serenity, which is the movie or whatever. But
Yeah.
So this game has kind of like a bit of that vibe to it, and it plays like absolutely nothing on this list. Like, from a gameplay standpoint, it's completely unique. Setting standpoint, it's completely unique. It's got a really cool mech-based
Yeah, it looks really
battle
cool
system.
in the B-roll.
Oh, yeah. And you collect new mechs, you upgrade them. You can also have your party members. Generally, you have your party members in the mechs, but if the mechs get destroyed, your party members can also fight on the battlefield. You can equip like passive stones to them to give them extra powers and buffs and things. And it's in the vein, this is a pretty obscure game, but there's a PS2 game called Metal Saga. It was actually Atlas published, and it was sometime in the, I guess, early 2000s. And it's kind of similar to that, where it's, again, like that kind of mech-based RPG. And I think that series was also called the Metal Max series in Japan. And it actually has a shockingly great story. Like, it's, for me, I give all Kemco games a really good shot to get me hooked in the story and characters. And at some point, if they don't, then I'll probably, I'll probably skip through some of the stuff, because there's a lot of text in these games. Emeth has a really good story, really fun characters. It looks absolutely fantastic. Unfortunately, the B-roll hasn't got to much of that yet, but it's really great sprite art. Honestly, I actually think this is a must buy for JRPG fans. I think it's
Really?
that good. I loved Emeth. It was in my, I can't remember if it was honorable mentions or in my actual list for our game. Was a big year in awards thing. I
Yeah.
loved Emeth, so I cannot recommend it enough.
Let me skip ahead a bit. I can cheat a little bit.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, it looks
so-
really good. Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
cool.
and look, all hit points games, as you'll notice, have visually they're much nicer, I think, and they're much closer to SNES era stuff, and really, you know, they nail that look. So just that really good
It's
dialogue.
not as like artistically quite cohesive as a really top tier SNES game, but it looks way better than all the rest games so far that I've seen.
Yeah, but I mean, that's also you're seeing one little setting.
Fair,
like there's lots of, and there's some game like this isn't the best looking hit point game either.
Is this
So some
RPG
of them-
Maker still?
None of these games are made in RPG Maker.
None of them are.
No, none
Oh
of
my
them. Are.
god. Okay, interesting.
No. So I actually
Are you
got.
sure?
Yeah, no, they aren't made in RPG Maker.
Okay, fair enough.
So I actually got at least one EXE Create game is made in Unity because I got a pop up when I was loading it
That's
up.
true. That's true. That also
so-
means that they didn't pay the extra license to remove
That-
the Unity thing.
I've only seen it in one, so I have a feeling it may have been a mistake. So I wouldn't be
Okay.
surprised if most of EXE Creates are made in Unity. I have no idea about your point.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
They've obviously got, especially EXE Create, they've obviously got the engines they use and reuse for this stuff. And they reuse assets all the time, especially EXE Create. But hit point. Anyway, Armed Emeth. Let's see where
Looks
we're
good.
going to rank this game.
Looks good. I like the art and everything of it.
I've given this game a bit of a lot of praise. So this actually lands in S tier.
S tier. Oh, I need sound effects on this show. This is the
Whoop,
next
whoop,
upgrade. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Oh
Armed
my
Emeth,
god.
Armed
Wow.
Emeth is in S tier of
S
Kemco
tier.
RPGs.
S
Not
tier
everyone's
Kemco
probably
RPG.
going to agree with that. Maybe, but there's some games I think that I'll rank high that maybe they'll say S tier. But Armed Emeth is fantastic.
There you
All right.
go. Wow, we've got some disparity in the tier list already. I like it.
I know there's a big gap there, and you'll see the color codings come into play. That blue is hit point, green is extra crate. But yeah, we'll see how it all plans out. All right, next game we have Asdivine Cross.
Yes.
So this is going to be the first.
Okay, every time we laugh when a new game comes up, if you're listening to the audio version, you poor soul, we're laughing because the intros are like exactly the same. It's just that the direction of the world map that they're going on is different each time. It's either going up to the top left, top right.
It's funny. These games are actually different in their ways, but obviously the way they begin is always the friggin' same. All right, so this is the first of the 7 Asdivine games.
Yeah, I noticed there's a lot of Asdivine games.
So these games are connected in some ways, but they're not. They're generally not. They're pretty also standalone, except for there are a pair of sequels as well. So, all right, the first one, Asdivine Cross. Oh, this fucking game. This game did my head in because, you know, I play these games for achievements, right? No, of course, that's what I play them for. But I enjoy playing them, but I play them for achievements. This one did my head in. It was actually one of the hardest to complete, and I put it aside and came back to it months later. This is actually a solid game. It's a solid EXE Create game. Probably the second toughest completion in this whole list, achievement-wise. Has a nice beat combo system. A couple of these games do, but this is the first one that's come up.
What did you say? Beat combo system? What's that?
Well, I'm back to explain it. So beat combo systems where you create custom skill combos. So basically all your characters can learn different skills. And what you can do is you can save almost like a macro of them, and it creates a beat combo where it multiplies, you know, and it's basically you can use like, okay, I'm going to use 4 skills in one go, based on, you know, the weighting of the points they use and stuff, and then just basically unleash these massive attacks in battles. So it's some cool little stuff going on there. One of the most memorable things about this game is there is a character that is a masochist in this game who enjoys pain. No joke. It is a girl that basically, she's one of your party members.
Oh, girl. Oh, that's unfortunate.
And she literally asks the main character to actually hit her all the time throughout the whole game. And as ridiculous as that sounds, it is actually pretty funny the way they do it. Like, these games are actually, I don't know who, no, like, it is actually leads to funny moments, right? I'll explain they work it into the gameplay.
Can I just, before you go on,
It works.
because I know you're going to explain it, but you remember there's a friend that we have who's no longer a friend, and you were closer to him than me. Do you know this story about him and the German masochist?
Is this the time to bring this up? And if you want to mention it, bring it up.
No,
I'm
but
sure the list.
you know about the story?
No, I can't remember. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, it's this crazy story where this German masochist who was really into him, and she's like, "Oh, you've got to hit me, you've got to hit me," and he goes, I can't hit a woman. Like, what are you talking? And he was really into her, and she goes, "Let's go outside, let's do it outside," right? And he goes, "I don't want to," right? And then he actually did it, right? People on the street are like, "What the fuck is going on here? Like, what?" I'm just like, oh my god, the German masochist. But yeah,
Well, unlike real life,
Yes.
this character actually learns enemy skills by being hit by them. So they work it into the gameplay. So it's basically, if you've ever, like, a lot of Final Fantasy games have a class or a job called Blue Mage that learns Blue Magic, which is basically enemy skills. And in Final Fantasy VII, there's actually a material called Enemy Skill. You've got Final Fantasy X Kamari, the Ronso in that. It's also a Blue Mage and stuff. So you basically, like, they work into the gameplay, which is pretty cool. So this game gets a lot of points for that. And as I said, it's played up for comedic effect, but these games, I don't know who the hell translates them, if it's the same person, company or whatever, but they're actually translated really well. So it's cool. Yeah, this is a good game. So where am I going to put this? Let's go to our tier list.
I never thought the fact that there's some poor souls out there translating these games with thousands of lines.
Oh, there's so many of these.
Oh,
Sorry,
God.
I've just give me one quick second.
Mm-hmm.
Where are we? All right, okay. So this one is going to, where am I? That's not right.
The art of this game looks not as good as Armed Emeth.
Oh, look, there's going to be a big disparity in terms of art styles of these games. Let me put it out there. So Asdivine Cross is going to be put in the C tier.
Oh, we've got our first C tier game.
We got our first C tier.
We're filling it out.
All
For
right.
those playing at home.
Now I've moved all my windows around there. What's the next game? Okay, the next game is, surprise, surprise, Asdivine. It is Asdivine. I can't say it.
Dios.
Asdivine Dios. Sorry.
Seriously, dude.
All
That
right,
is crazy.
I am now questioning your decision to grab this kind of B-roll, not the trailer.
No, but this is you can't argue. This is way funnier.
Dude, it is funny. Like I'm gonna tell you, all the EXE Create games start like this.
No, I
Like,
noticed it. I noticed it when I was
sorry,
processing
I got a
them.
bloody. Get out of here.
Oh,
you
I had
mosquito.
a spider. What did you have?
Mosquito. How do we never have any insects on this show until like the Kemco tier list? What the fuck is going on?
And then I had a spider come right over the camera. That's cool.
All right, I'm sorry, I'm all messed up with. I've got so many screens open and stuff. Okay, Asdivine Dios.
Dios.
I don't have much to say about
I
this
want you to
game.
say Dios.
Dios. I don't have much to say about this game. You play as God, or a god, and you've got like a harem of like goddesses. So a lot of these.
And why is the
EXE
screen flashing like that?
These, I don't know, these EXE Create games, they often have the same makeup of parties where you've got a male main character and 3 female
Oh god.
party members.
This is cringy.
And a lot of it's totally cringe. And a lot of them end up where you've got multiple endings, depending on the trust level with everyone. You can end up with the different party members. It's
Oh god.
in saying that, it's not as it's cringe, but it's written better than it sounds, if that makes sense. Still, it's still the same tropey bullshit. So
Yeah.
Asdivine Dios it's decent.
Dios.
It's another EXE game. I'm gonna be saying that a lot. It's decent, nothing special.
This is the tier list right now.
It's nothing
another-
special.
Another game. It's a game.
Alright, it's another. All right, so where am I putting
Oh,
this?
you're already moving into the rating. Okay.
Oh yeah, I don't have some of these. I just don't have a lot to say. I'm gonna be.
I'm not sure
putting
you really said anything about that game apart from.
It's another EXE Create game. Some of
What
them
do
are
you
just
mean
so they're so similar.
Well, what's the
can't
battle
really-
system? What's the difference? It's got to have something.
Honestly, with this game,
You're a god. Is that it?
you're a god.
Is it a demigod or a god or?
You're like the divine being of the world. I don't know. All I know, some of these I'm going to be talking about like this. So
I feel like I need to go back to my credentials and
get ready for it. Dude, if you played 36 of these fucking games in 2 years or whatever it's been, it's like some of them are just hard to exactly. I went a load of these up and tried to remind myself the differences. All right, this game's got
D
quite a bit of
tier.
humor to it.
I can tell you.
It's D. It's D tier.
You
But
ruined
I'm gonna put it at ahead on the D tier.
Top of the D tier.
Top of the D tier.
Top of the D.
Top of the D. Top of the D tier.
We're talking about cringy.
Okay, all right. Let's get into the next Asdivine.
All right.
This game is the first Kemco game I ever played as Asdivine Hearts. It's probably also
At least it opens over water. It's a little bit different.
this is also likely the first Kemco RPG that most people have played because it's the first one that likely got released on a lot of platforms, modern platforms. It's definitely the first one that got released on Xbox. It's one of their biggest games.
Yeah, I
Asdivine.
feel like I've heard of this game. Like maybe it's just you've mentioned it a bunch or something.
Yeah, so I'd like Asdivine Hearts is actually a pretty solid game. Now, again, this is the first one I played, so trying to, your memory gets murky as well because I've played so many of them now. But I'm just trying to, sorry, all my windows. When you've got 36 games to talk about, your windows get screwed up.
I mean, don't tell me you got 36 windows for every game, though.
No, of course not. This actually has This has great characters, has really funny dialogue. I think it's great. It's got a really cool jewel system. So basically it's got like a 5x5 grid where you lay out, you get different jewels that give you abilities and buffs and stuff. So you got to lay them out almost like, I can't remember, but those block puzzles where you got to like fit them all into a grid. It's like, a puzzle where one is like the Tetris shaped pieces and things. And you got to like make them all fit a square. Or it could be could be triangle, whatever, right? It's like a puzzle thing.
I know what you're talking about.
But you basically got a 5x5 grid, so you've got to like sacrifice space and things. It's actually pretty cool.
That's kind of cool, actually.
Yeah, and you've got to build up the trust of your party members. Have got abilities and stuff, but also, as I said, like it's got those multiple endings. I think it's actually a really fun game. I think it's a good first EXE Create game for people to play. So, as Asdivine Hearts, I am going to chuck this in the B tier.
Oh, our first B tier game.
We have a
Asdivine
B
Hearts,
tier.
B tier.
Asdivine Hearts. All right.
Where will the next game be?
Where will the B-roll start for this next game, which is Asdivine Hearts 2?
Yay.
It's the sequel, direct sequel to Asdivine Hearts. Surprise, surprise, it's Pania Landscape in the B-roll once again.
It's always going up, left, up, right.
I don't know. It's not going to change. All these EXE Create games are going to be like this. Anyway, so Asdivine Hearts 2.
Can I just stop you for a second? I feel like imagine working at EXE Create. It's like, all right, we're being commissioned with the next RPG. And then the director who does most of these games, all right, what I want is something new. We're going to be panning up. And they're all like, ah!
In their defense, not that you can really defend that laziness, there's sometimes comfort in the familiar, right?
Also, how many games are they pumping out?
I don't know, but they're releasing. You go in, according to Wikipedia, which I don't trust at all because a lot of it's wrong information. Like there's some years.
So let's propagate it further to everyone.
Yeah, no, but what I'm saying is some of the years, because also like the games came out mobile first, so they like sometimes treat them as different years based on what platforms. It's a mess on there, but there's some years where they put out like 14 of these games, and I literally don't know how they do it. Like even if they've got the same engine. I don't know how they actually create all that dialogue in that, like per month or however. I don't know how they did this. It's like
it's impressive.
It's almost like they've got an AI to generate these games. Anyway, Asdivine Hearts 2 is the best Asdivine game.
Well, you've just ruined it. This is bloody Odyssey all over again. You've ruined the tier list. We've got like another how many three Asdivine games coming. We know the limit now.
But people want to know exactly where on the D tier they're all going to land. Oh my, get away, you mosquito.
Asdivine Hearts is B.
All right.
This is the
got the mosquito. Got the mosquito. All right. Asdivine, this is exactly what I wanted it to be.
Yeah.
Look, it's an awesome game, but it's also very similar to the first game. Like, what can you expect? It's just done
a
better,
sequel.
I think.
Oh,
Yeah, it's just feels more polished. It's got some features where you've got like a garden to grow things and grow into plants to upgrade your skills and stuff. So they did definitely add new features to it. They're the kind of things you don't see from this kind of B-roll. Like, the first thing I do for any Kemco game that I play is I jump straight into the menu, because the menu tells you everything that's different about the game in these games. Like the battle system sometimes will be a bit different, but especially EXE Crate, I'm like, okay, does it have an in-game shop? Does it have a reward system? Does it have this and this and this? And like, what equipment do you equip? That's the first thing I do, because that tells me, okay, what am I in for? And yeah, so I talk about that reward system. So some of these games, and this is the first game I think I played where it has it, have like a record system where it says how many steps you've made, how many enemies you've killed, how many items you've used, and all this stuff. And when you can actually unlock and get cool prizes when you actually hit those milestones. So they'll have, okay, if you walked 50,000 steps, you get this cool item, or 100,000, you get this cool item. So it's just like a little cool in-game record system that you know, gives you cool stuff. And some of the items from them get pretty good. So, all right, so Asdivine Hearts 2.
Where is she ranked?
Are we referring to Kemco games on as females, are we right now?
Yeah, I don't know. It's like a vessel, isn't it? All vessels are female.
It's a vessel. I really haven't figured out how I'm laying out all my windows right here.
I want to know what the issue with the windows are.
Well, it's because like things keep covering other stuff, and so I'm like, Anyway,
How many monitors do you have?
I got 10 monitors. No, I've got 2 monitors, man.
So surely the tier list is on one of them, and then the other one is, you know.
I've got my notes. I've got our bloody streaming thing. I've got I've got a.
You don't need to see me, really.
I've got like a kind of a tier list that I've already kind of drafted up. So
this is the secret tier list.
yeah,
It already
well,
exists.
there's so many games.
You meant to do
man,
this
like-
on the fly.
No, that's
You've
horrible.
ruined the magic. You've ruined the magic.
Do it on the fly. All right, so I'm going to play Asdivine Hearts 2. It's still a B tier, but it's
Well, you're
ahead
spoiling it because you're putting it on the screen. I can see you're about to go B.
It's ahead of
Oh.
Asdivine Hearts.
There
So
you go.
yeah, so I think B is a good placing
B, there
placement
you
for
go.
that. All right.
So now we know all the Asdivine ones are going to be below B.
Yeah, but you don't know where they are. Come on.
Okay, fair enough.
Everyone wants to know exactly where Asdivine Kamura is gonna
Ooh, yes.
rank. Oh my god, why are we doing this? Asdivine Kamura. Okay, this game's actually.
Whoa. It's
this
a different
game's-
intro. It's a different intro.
So this,
Oh, it's already standing out. This should be an A tier game.
this game is actually pretty unique in a couple of ways. So
Done.
its setting, you asshole. Its setting is like Japanese theme. None of these games, all these games are basically a fantasy setting. All the XC Crate ones. This one's actually set in very Japanese themed world, which is actually pretty unique.
Is it feudal Japan?
I don't know exactly. I mean,
Oh,
it's still
okay.
a mix of fantasy. It's just obviously it's called Kamura, so and everything's like it's got Japanese look to it. It mixes the formula up a little bit. You can actually attach like you've got your weapons you equip, and then you attach like items to that weapon, like little buffs. So you can actually a lot of these games, like I'm going to be talking about when they're different, like they're often different in small ways, and that's one way that this game is different. There's no 5x5 dual grid in this one, which is a bit of a shame, like the other, like Asdivine Hearts. But ultimately, this ended up just being an okay game, even with it like being a cooler setting and it starting obviously without that panning over the map. I don't think this is a top-notch game or anything. But the good thing is, like these games, you don't need to have played the previous ones. If this one's on cheap, it's probably worth picking up. It's also probably one of the shorter ones, I think. So, Asdivine.
Well, how long are most of these games on average?
Look, they're about 20 to 25.
20 hours. But
Sometimes
is that
it'll be-
100% or is that just to finish the story?
That's 100% for me.
Just
There's
getting
some
all the achievements.
pretty much. There's some stuff that they do add some optional harder challenges, but I generally max out all the levels and everything in this, so I would be able to do the optional content pretty easily most of these games. But also, I said at the top show, like I play these with DLC, so it's also that warps. If you don't play these games with DLC, they're going to take you a bit longer.
How
so
much
I'd
is the
say
DLC relative to the game?
Oh, here we go. I was waiting for this question. Whenever I've mentioned this, I've been waiting for you guys to ask. It's ridiculous. Like these are pretty pricey DLCs.
Like this is like $15 games, So how much is the
No, they're
DLC?
like $20, $25 games.
Oh, okay, 20 Australian dollars, we should say.
Yeah.
So I think it's 15
And-
US, but like
and
20, 25 Australian. And how much is
DLC.
the easy
DLC's
mode? So you're saying that they don't give you easy mode like in the game?
No,
default?
no. When I say easy mode, they're just difficulty settings in the game. What I meant by easy mode is like there's a DLC for 2 times damage, right?
So it's pay to win.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Oh,
Like
pay to
I'm
win.
upfront about this, man. Like I go all in. I
You have no shame.
I cry myself to sleep over the amount of money I spend on these stupid
Yeah, well, now I
Kemco
want to know.
DLCs.
Now I'm interested.
Are they about $7?
$7.
DLC,
But you'd only get like
so-
one or something like that, right?
So generally, there's 2 I'll generally get.
Okay.
So what I do is ahead of time, like I factor that into my purchase price. That's just what I do. And there's one game on this list that didn't have the DLC, and I didn't play it for ages, and then I decided to play it. Anyway, we'll get to that one. But yeah, so basically, like they $30 to $35 usually. So which is cool because these games, I enjoy playing them, and they're pretty beefy. You know, they're not tiny games.
So that's
They're
about a
full-blown
grand on Kemco games.
Dude, I'm in it. I'm in
not
it
as
for the
crazy.
long haul. I'm
That's-
in it for the
you know,
long haul.
It's a lot of games.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like these games are, so they're not tiny games. Anyway,
Yeah.
so Asdivine Kamura.
Yeah, where
so,
we're up to.
you've already moved it down. So Asdivine Kamura is going in the D tier, but it's going ahead of the others.
In the D tier.
In the D tier.
Do you want
Alright.
to know? Do you want to know a trick? It's best to make the space first and then put it in there.
That's fine. It's all good.
Okay.
We'll
Let's go.
get by. That is the least of my concern right now. All right. The next game is Asdivine Menace.
Here we go. We're showing the B-roll.
Wait, it's white. It's white. It's not
It's
a map.
different.
It's not a map. Oh, it's different.
It's different.
All right. So this is actually a direct sequel to Asdivine Dios. So it's so much so that they use the exact same artwork of the main character on both games, which is pretty lazy. So Asdivine Menace, Asdivine Dios was the game I was like, I don't have much to say about this. I don't have much to say about this one either. It's a direct sequel. It's very similar.
Wait, it's a
I
sequel
can't-
to what?
Asdivine Dios.
Oh, but isn't... Okay, so I thought Dios was the second of some other game. Okay, interesting.
No. So Asdivine Dios and then Asdivine Menace, those two, like, they're a pair of games, and Asdivine Hearts 1 and 2 are a pair of games.
Okay.
Yeah, look again. It's an EXE Create game. It's kind of like when you play one of them, you played a lot of them, and there's some that just aren't very different from each other. And this being a sequel is even more so. Again, it's one of the games where it's probably worth picking up if you're a massive JRPG fan on the cheap, on the Switch or something. But yeah, maybe only if you play the first one, Asdivine Dios, if you love that. Then play through this. So, all right. So where am I ranking Asdivine Menace? Asdivine Menace is going just after Asdivine Dios on the D tier
Just after it. Okay, interesting.
because it's a direct sequel. But I mean, the
Oh,
first
wow,
one
it
you
is
play-
crazy what you're saying with the cover art, because you got them side by side now.
Yeah.
It looks ridiculous. Wait, I know, this is going to break this, so I shouldn't do it, but... That is ridiculous, man.
All
That's
right.
ridiculous.
We've
Okay,
got
we're
one
breaking
more
the show, we're breaking
Asdivine
the show.
game. One more
Yay.
Asdivine game to get through. Okay. Asdivine Saga.
Fantastic.
This is actually the most recent Asdivine
Another...
game.
Sorry, breaking news. Another... different B-roll. We're getting a bit ahead of ourselves with the B-roll.
So maybe these newer EXE Create games, they got sick of themselves
Yeah,
playtesting. The playtesters are like,
The QA guys.
again? Oh my god, stop with these map scrolling intros. So this is the most recent game they released on Xbox. Have a feeling it is the most recent in the series, but I'm not 100%, like as in on mobile and stuff, just because it feels the most modern. This one's pretty good. It has an interesting guild kind of progression system where it's like the central guild that you get your quests and all of the story runs through it, and it feels nice to have like a hub that you return to a bit. Like these games often you'll just have like your standard JRPG fare of all your towns and cities, and none of them feel memorable or unique in any way. Whereas going back to a place, you start to get a bit of a connection to it. So, and just like it makes for an interesting, way they hand out missions and stuff. It's got the same style of equipment system as Divine Kamura, where you've got the weapon and then you attach items to it to give it buffs. So it mixes it up a bit there. It has a very, very awkward secret ending that I'm like, don't go there, and they went there, and I just couldn't believe it. So let me explain the whole thing before you react.
What do you want? Like, so
It's not-
spoilers? Do you want like so people should skip ahead?
Spoilers.
How far should they skip ahead?
I don't know. Skip ahead a minute or something.
Okay.
All right.
Skip the whole podcast. Go on.
So I mentioned earlier that you've got like secret endings that often where you hook up with the different party members.
Yeah.
One of your party members
No. Go on.
is very young, right?
Oh, this is actually. I thought it was going to be your sister or something like that.
This
is actually worse.
we'll get to that later.
Oh no.
But all right, that's what I said. Like, wait till I explain it before you. It's bad, but it's not that bad. Often what these endings do, they take place years later, right?
Yeah.
But I'm like, surely they're not going to say, oh, well, she's aged up, and then the main character hooks up with her. That's exactly what happens, and it's the most awkward thing where it's like, really, you had to do that just to fulfill your. Oh, we have to have an
Creepy.
ending where the main character hooks up with every one of these female party members, you know? So, anyway.
Is this the I'm going to head home ending?
I can't remember what it's called. Like, dude, I've played so many of these games, so many endings, so many character stories.
You're actually listed on the first site that I clicked on when I was looking for secret ending, and finishing it on the 2nd of October, 2021.
Yeah. So yeah, look, it's actually not a bad game
Wait,
outside of that.
Like, she's a party member. How young is she? Do they say?
I can't remember, but I think they reference her being young.
Okay.
And it's clearly she's a younger character just by design as well.
Okay. So it's pretty creepy then.
Because also what they do is often they'll have moments where, you know, this JRPG trope where they flirt with each other, and you never flirt with that character at all in the game, which is obviously good. But then I'm like, wait, I've unlocked the other endings where you hook up with them. Surely they're not going to go there, and they did. But obviously
that is creepy. That is
years
creepy.
later. Anyway.
Still creepy.
All right. It is still creepy. So Asdivine, Asdivine Saga is pretty good. I'm going to chuck this.
Asdivine Pedo.
God, don't do that. We're flagged. I'm going to chuck it on the B tier, but after the Asdivine Hearts game. Oh, yeah, after the Asdivine Hearts games. I said it's a good game.
Seemed like you enjoyed that secret ending.
That's not the case. No, it's got a lot of the modern quality of life. Like, when I say modern, like in the relative terms, it's got a lot of the quality of life features. As I said, like, I like that guild central system and stuff. So, and it's a fun game. So,
Okay.
B tier. All right, next. Oh my God, we've nearly finished the first row.
We're going pretty well, actually. Well, you're going pretty well.
Oh God, let me take a drink. Can you like sing a song while I take a drink of water or something?
Well, I can cover this one. This is the Blacksmith of the Sand Kingdom. And it's also a different B-roll.
Well, that's because this is not by EXE Create.
Oh, this is our first Ridion game.
This is, also not by Hitpoint. This is by Ridion Japan.
Oh.
And I reviewed this game on the show.
I remember
On
that.
the podcast.
I remember that.
It's the only Kemco game I've reviewed. And I gave it a pretty glowing review on the show. It's one of the 2 Ridion games on this list. One is coming up a little bit. This is a brilliant game. It's a crafting game where basically you play a blacksmith, as per the title. You run a store, so you go out to dungeons, you collect like materials, you craft the weapons, you put them out for sale that day. You balance the pricing based on demand and making people happy. You fulfill demands and everything. So it's like Recettear and that, where the games where you run a shop, but you go out dungeon, you know, like moonlighting, like Moonlighter, I think it is. And a really, really cool game. I'm not going to talk too much to it because I reviewed it on the show. I might link it in the description.
31. Episode 31.
Episode
if you want to
31.
Go back.
I'll just say it has some really cool deep systems. Has a job system that actually is really, really cool, where you've got a job and a sub-job, or a class and a subclass. But you will spend a lot of time in menus. So if that's not your thing, then that's this game. But it's got, similar to another game that I'll mention, the other Ridion game, it's got that Stardew Valley Harvest Moon kind of hook to it. where if you like the actual that cycle of collecting stuff, putting it out for sale and just like growing plants in Harvest Moon, you'll probably enjoy this. So highly recommended. And I think this game, like I mentioned, was Emeth, would be much more highly regarded if it wasn't a Kemco game. That it's kind of a shame that and they've created themselves. We've seen how much cookie cutter those intros are. But it's kind of like it's almost like these games go hidden and unrecognized because of that. So
they almost need to split up their publishing thing to Kemco and then like the top tier ones, whatever you want to call it, Kemco Plus.
So Blacksmith for the Sand Kingdom is actually going to land straight in our A tier.
Oh, our first A tier game.
Our first A tier game.
Meridian.
So, if we're looking at the color coding, what is the story telling you so far of the different developers on our tier list?
Well, like quite literally, all the green ones are B and below, and then everything else is higher.
All right, let's get to the next game, which is Bonds of the Skies. So
That's
this
an
game,
awkward name, actually. Bonds of the Skies.
It's much harder to read than you expect. Bonds of the Skies. So this is a hit point developed game. So the makers of Emeth. This is
S tier game, official S tier game.
Yes, this is much earlier. It seems like just from what I played, it definitely came out earlier on Xbox and stuff, but it just feels earlier in terms of like it just doesn't have the nicer features and stuff. Emeth was its own kind of weird thing anyway, really unique. This really looks like a Genesis and SNES RPG. Like Hit Point really nailed that when they go in. Unfortunately, the B-roll is just nothing but scrolling text at the moment. But
criticizing the B-roll.
I'm not.
I'm
criticizing the B-roll. I'm not criticizing you. I'm criticizing the B-roll. So this actually has a first-person battle system similar to your Dragon Quest and similar to Earthbound and that. And there's quite a few hit point games that are like that. So generally all EXE create games will be like your Final Fantasy side-on turn-based. A lot of hit point games, not all of them, but a lot of them have that first-person view. It's definitely not as pretty as other hit point games and not as memorable. So I still think worth picking up on special if you love SNES era RPGs, because it's definitely got that kind of vibe to it. So yeah, I think Bonds of the Skies is pretty decent, but where does it land on our tier list?
Where does it land?
I'm actually going to place this in C tier at the end.
Oh, okay.
So
C tier is filling out. We've got two games of C tier.
Middle of the road. So that was Bonds of the Skies.
Is that Asdivine Cross? It's so hard to read these.
That is Asdivine Cross with the
other C tier game. Okay,
other
we're
C
getting
tier.
mix of the colors now. We're getting mix of the colors. This is the first game that's now ranked lower than 3 green games with the EXE create.
If anyone's listened to the audio version of this, I really recommend watching the video version.
Rip.
All right, next game has the most awkward title out of all of them, which is Chroma Quaternion. I think that's how you say
Quaternion,
it.
yeah. That's a real thing,
Chroma Quaternion. And look, it's a modern Kemco, a modern EXE create game because it starts differently.
Straight into it as well. See, this is fine to start like this.
I really like this game. This is a combination of like
huge dog. What?
I will get to that in a second. It's like a culmination of all the best EXE create features and systems. I think great quality of life. I think it actually looks really nice for like some of their games can look little average. Some of them like really like artificial. This one actually looks pretty good. Has a neat little title-based job system. So it's not really a job system, but you can unlock titles that give you extra like buffs and abilities. I can't remember the full details, but you unlock them and you equip them. You equip 3 of them to each character. So some interesting stuff going on there. It's got a recycle jar feature that seemed like unique to this game. I haven't played it in any other game where you like upgrade rings by chucking in other items to upgrade those rings. So some cool stuff going on. And you have a giant magic Pomeranian as a party member, which is actually really cool. Like I like when they have unique types of characters as party members. And yeah, funny characters. There's also one of your party members, like one of your other party members is a princess, and the 4th one is her maid or servant that's obsessed with her, but it's actually pretty funny. Like the way they've written these games and translated them are actually pretty decent.
I just hope that the trope doesn't continue and you end up hooking up with huge dog at the end in one of the secret endings.
No, that's funny.
And the achievement was called Red Rocket.
So, oh my god. So I really like this game. This is the game that didn't have any DLC.
Oh,
no double
probably
damage.
the best one. You're like, fuck this game.
Well,
you can't make it easier.
I actually had to play through this normally. Like,
And can we also bring the audience in on the fact that you have like all these crazy macro controllers? So I'm sure you've like leveled your character up way beyond what it should be by just like looping over some area.
Look, all EXE Create games are super easy to grind because they'll all have like what's called like metal and gold regions where they've got these enemies that you can grind and farm for insane amounts of XP.
Okay.
So they're really good.
So you're
like,
saying yes, that is correct.
No. Generally, like they'll have items where it will trigger enemy counters every single step. You auto battle like
every step. Oh
yeah,
my
so
God.
no, when you want to grind.
Okay.
So you literally just go like bang, battle, and you can level up to like 999 in like 2 hours or something. max.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah, it's insane. So highly recommended game. This is probably a really good game to jump in on the XE Create games. A really good like first time. I think it's really cool. So I'm gonna place this.
Okay. I like Huge Dog. He's my favorite so far.
I'm gonna place this on the B tier, but I'm going to
B tier.
move it up to the top of the B tier.
Top of the B tier for you.
Top of the B tier to you.
I don't know why we're losing our minds and we're not even halfway through.
All right. Whew. All right. Next game. How are we traveling? Oh my god.
Yeah,
all right.
we're doing all right.
Chronus Arc. So Chronus Arc was one of the. Oh, I nearly spilled water over my entire keyboard. Whoa. I'm going to put the lid on this thing.
On the podcast or?
Yes. Anyway, Chronus Arc. No, lid on the podcast. On the bottle. Chronus Arc is another Hit Point developed game. This was the first of their games I played, and up to this point, like I was like, okay, they're all going to be this kind of like EXE Create game, very cookie cutter, all very similar to each other. And this kind of blew my mind because it's so different. Like as I said, different developer, but it's also like just graphically. So again, like this is much closer to SNES era style graphics and presentation. And this game actually includes puzzles in their dungeons. I'm like, a lot of EXE Create games, you just run around from chest to chest and fight battles, right? You don't do.
Not really.
You know, there's no puzzles or anything.
Oh my
sorry.
God.
They might add slight things. You need to go get this key to unlock this or hit this switch or something, but no actual puzzles like Zelda style or anything.
And there's like no overworld. Yeah, I mean, even like a
No.
game like Chrono Trigger doesn't have like Zelda style puzzles, but it has like, you know, kind of like sort of pseudo puzzles. You know what I mean?
Most of these games have overworlds, but they don't have any kind of like interactive overworlds.
Wow.
You know,
Okay,
so
yeah.
yeah, they've all got like maps with a couple of exceptions. But anyway, Chronus Arc reminds me a lot of Lufia 2 in that sense, where it's
Ooh.
got puzzles in its dungeons.
Deep cut, I like that.
Yeah, and it's again like it's the first I played of Kemco RPGs with a first-person battle system, so it's not a first-person shooter. Very solid game, really nice sprite art. Most SNES-like game probably here. It just really felt like that. So, Chronus Arc. Where am I ranking Chronus Arc? Okay, I am putting this game. Where is it?
Isn't it all in order?
No, I'm referencing my guide. So
You cheat.
my cheat.
You're doing it live.
Shut up. Would you want to do this live? All right.
I wouldn't want to do any of it live.
It's your idea.
It's my idea.
Your idea to actually make it real. All right. So
I'm making your dreams come true.
making the shitpost come true. All right.
2022, baby.
This is going in the top of the C tier. So
Top of the C tier for 2
So top of the middle.
Top of the middle.
All right.
Like,
All right.
being done.
Number 16. All right. Let's go.
All right, let's go.
No, 17.
Yeah. I've got it straight. Don't worry about it.
Crystal Ortha. O-R-T-H-A. Not
Ortha.
author like a book author. This is another Hit Point game. I talked about this on the show a bit, but nobody would remember.
I remember.
This is a very good game. Like, really good game. This is like peak hit point. Like I loved Emeth, obviously. From a more traditional JRPG and settings and battle systems and everything, this is like, to me, like their peak. Absolutely beautiful, great sprite work, and that's what I think a lot of people miss out on with these games, is that they're really, really nice. Like hit points games are really nice to look at in battles and everything. All the like really big sprites animate well, and it's got really good music. Like most of these games, the music is really forgettable, and this has great music. It has a really cool. A lot of hit point games have this, but what's called a Carmina system or Carmina system. That basically around the world you can pick up items that are basically buffs that you can equip to your characters. So you might pick up this Carmina, and you got like 100 of them or something. So you got lots of ways you can build out your characters. Really, really cool. I think this game is awesome. It's for people to like. I wish they still made SNES style RPGs, you know, but like with more modern bells and whistles. This is they still do make them. They go missed. You know,
Who says that? I feel like they make a lot of SNES style RPGs still.
Well, I mean, I'm saying if someone was saying that, like this game is that. This game is that. There's some
Some asshole. Some asshole was watching this. Go, which one of these SNES style RPGs should I play?
So Crystal Ortha is going to be placed in the A tier behind Blacksmith for the Sand Kingdom.
Not the top of the A tier.
Okay, now we're getting to a pair of games that okay, let's get there. All right, number 18 is a game called Dragon Lapis. Oh my God, it's scrolling.
Oh no, we're back again. We're back again, baby.
But you'll notice it looks very different.
We're going hard left now.
So maybe I don't know if you skip ahead a bit on this one, because this game and the next one look very different. Very classic NES RPG as well. Similar to, I think it was Alvastia Chronicles.
I feel like this is almost Master System style, you know, like Fantasy Star or something.
Well,
like
the next one is almost like Game Boy level. You'll see.
What goes backwards? Okay, good.
Well, anyway, this game is really pretty in its simpleness with that, but it's just way too zoomed in. Like it's just sometimes like the things that matters in these games in dungeons and stuff.
It looks like a one tile kind of game as well, right?
Yeah. So there are some EXE creates one tiles. This is definitely a one tile game. But this has the most convoluted, fucking annoying growth system in any of these games.
Growth system.
So the way you level your characters up.
Oh. Is that what it's called? A gross system?
Well, I'm
learning a lot on this tier list. I'm glad we.
No, generally you'd call it like progression system or something, right?
But what did you call it? A gross system?
You'll let me explain, and I'll get to that, because they're called growth plates, right?
Oh, growth system.
Oh, what did you think I said?
Gross system.
Oh, okay.
That's why I went gross system. Gross system. Let me get to it, bitch.
It all makes sense now. It all makes sense.
So your character gets really gross, and the grosser you get, it's Cabbage Patch Kid style, whatever that thing called.
So basically, these are plates you equip to your character. Yeah, but look, they explain the most basic stuff. Like, this is your health. This is your MP, you know.
The sprite work in this is ridiculous, to be fair.
Oh, it's funny. Yeah, like imagine playing a game like that for 40 hours. I think this game took me 40 hours to 100%, right? Let me get to those growth plates.
What? That looks crazy how it dies. Anyway, go on.
The growth plates, you spend, for those 40 hours, I reckon 25 of those are spent in the fucking menu re-equipping growth plates all the time. They're like multiple skill trees that you max out per character, because it's got a job system in it, right? But you're constantly having to equip different growth plates that are specific to that job, maxing them out, replacing them, swapping with other ones. I fucking hated it. This game sucks. I hate this game. Avoid this.
Oh, okay. It looks cute.
It looks cute, but it's hell to play.
It's a bitch.
This is the first game going in the F tier.
Oh my god, we have an F tier. F to the morning to you.
If someone likes this game, I'm sorry. I hated my time with it.
I'll translate it to Swinny. Fuck you. Give the feedback to mike@bigwigpod.com.
Right. Let's get to the next game, which is Dragon Sinker. What's the something? Oh, Descendants of Legend. This is
Descendants of
the
Legend.
other NES style JRPG.
Oh, okay.
This one's even more fucking zoomed in than the last one. Look at it. No, can you find somewhere where they're moving around? You know how hard it is to tell where the fuck you are on the maps because it's so gone. NES games weren't this zoomed in. That's what I'm saying. This is closer to Game Boy. Even Game Boy probably had higher resolution than this
I
trash.
actually don't think it's as like zoomed in as Game Boy. So like, keep talking. I'll count how many tiles because I know how many tiles a Game Boy is.
Oh, but the weird part is you look at the pixels and some of them are smaller than others, so it's like fake.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
less than a Game Boy. So Game Boy had a tile system fundamentally. Like it was like 16 or so tiles, and then I think 14 down or something like that. This has got like only 10 tiles across and like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 8-ish down.
Dude,
That's
like,
pretty nuts.
I was
That's
like,
like more zoomed in than any other system I've ever seen.
I'm walking around, I can't see where the fuck I'm going. I Google, is there a way to zoom out? Because there's like...
Because this is a
there are-
mobile game.
So yeah, they all start as mobile games. But even on mobile, you'd be like, man, I can't see where the fuck I'm going. Especially with mobile, you'd have like controls on the screen, like little
Maybe
buttons.
this was built on like for the iPhone 3GS or something like that. And so
It's...
far out.
Oh man, so...
And the writing's quite small actually to me.
This was really tough to play, honestly. It's got... So I mentioned that
It looks
team-based...
cool though. It looks cool.
It looks cool, but when you
is
play
way
it,
too
it's
zoomed
tough.
in, yeah. It's way too
And
zoomed in.
so it's got a team-based battle system similar to, I think it was Alvastia Chronicles, where you go around recruit people, and so you got a leader in battle, and then you got 3 party members below them, and you got 3 different leaders and stuff. Just honestly, like I just found I couldn't wait to be done with this game, just because it was so tough to play. It was so like the story was uninteresting to me. Like these games have got their bright moments though, where they're funny and stuff, but anyway, just a hassle to play. I'm actually also putting this in the F tier, Dragon Sinker, and it's going because of the crimes against zooming. It's going after Dragon.
So this is the worst game so far. Maybe the
worst
worst
game
game.
so far.
Maybe the worst game. We'll find out, viewer and listener.
This looks like I have a hate boner for these style of an NES earlier Master System RPG. It's not. It's
Yeah.
just so tough to play.
You
All right,
hate
next.
Fantasy Star, just for anyone listening in.
No, I don't. I've only ever played
You've
Fantasy
never played
Star
it.
2.
How can you
I've
hate
only
it?
ever played Fantasy Star 2. So.
Okay, there you go.
All right, the next game, Fernz Gate. I still don't know what that means, but it's Fernz Gate.
Fernz Gate.
This is the second Fernland. There you go. This is Why are you laughing so much?
It's just funny. You go, Fernz Gate. What does that mean? The first second of the gate says Fern's Land. Oh, there
They
you go.
said Fernland. The thing
You're
is,
like, oh,
dude, like,
Fernland. That's why it was called Fern's
dude,
Gate.
I played 26 EXE Create games in 2 years. I cannot remember that much about them. Anyway,
Goddamn thing, but I'll rank them all.
there are a few things I remember about Fernz Gate though. This is the second Kemco game I ever played, and it kind of like it was so different as Asdivine Hearts in a lot of ways. First of all, there's no overworld in it. So Asdivine Hearts, like you go around, you get an airship, and this is just like you see the locations on a map and stuff. But it's actually really, really cool because it introduced me to the fact that a lot of these games have, like, they start to introduce these really cool quality of life features where, like, each area you go into, there's like a beacon. You go in there, you can set whether or not you want like a half encounter rate, double encounter rate, or you can say, hey, I just want to fight a bunch of enemies in a row now and just grind them all out at the beginning, and then put it to a lower encounter rate as I'm exploring. So that's actually a feature they added in a lot of other EXE Create games, and it's really great because you're like, okay, I'd rather just sitting there grind all in one go to feel like I'm leveled up enough to beat the boss of the area and stuff. Much more over the top in terms of just general systems and things like that than Asdivine Hearts. But I can't remember anything about the story or the characters. I really can't.
Why the
I
game's called Fernz Gate?
Well, I actually loaded it up. I'm like, they keep the a quest description of the main story beats, and I'm like, I just can't remember any of this. So to be fair, it's been ages since I played. It's been like over 2 years, but I had fun. I just probably wouldn't make this your first EXE Create game. This is kind of a good like, okay, I played a couple. I want something a bit different. So where do I rank Fernz Gate? Fernz Gate's going in the C tier.
Oh, CT is filling out. Getting a nice like bell curve coming on this. This is good.
Yeah. And I'm going to move a couple around. I'm going to Bonds of the Skies after it. Fernz Gate's moved up. It's third in that list in the C tier so far.
Oh, okay.
So.
There you go. There you go.
All right, what are we up to? Okay, we're up to the most unique game on this entire list.
Oh, okay.
Which is a game called Frane Dragon's Odyssey.
Dragon's Odyssey.
Dragon's Odyssey. Oh, I wonder if this is going to get the same hate as my other Odyssey ranking on Assassin's Creed.
Well, you're giving it away a bit, but yeah, go on.
So the reason this game is the most unique is this is an action RPG. It is not a turn-based game, although you'll get to... It feels like it's turn-based at times. But yeah, like all the other games are turn-based RPGs, even Armed, Emeth and Blacksmith and all those games that are ranked high. This is an action RPG and is actually a remake of a 2011 game that they did. And that original game was called Lost Memory of Angel Story Frane Dragon's Odyssey. So they actually made a whole series of these games in the early 2000s as well, of that Lost Memory of Angel Story. They're all games that were released on PC, so they weren't like Japan-only PlayStation games or anything. It's just, this game is super weird in so many ways. Everything feels off about it. Like, even in the B-roll, like, when you move the characters around, it's got like this really weird, I don't know, framing, like frame rate thing. It just feels really odd. And for an action RPG, that matters so much more than a game where you enter into battles. I don't know if you can find potentially any action in it. I know you'd be...
Well, the run animation looks really, like, dodgy.
But, like, if you find any kind of thing where they're battling, it's like... It's kind of...
Might not be
it's
at the start of the game. Do you remember if it's the start of the game?
Probably not. Or
No,
it might,
I only
it
got
might
like
have
the
it.
first 15 minutes, I think.
That's all good. That's all. So the best explanation I give, it feels like, you know, DVDs, right? You had like interactive menus.
You know DVDs.
You know DVDs. You know how they had like interactive menus.
Yeah, they were
where
cool. Yeah.
they sometimes felt off because it's like a weird delay. To
Yeah, they were
them
just
and things.
broken. Yeah.
This game feels like that. It's got that awkwardness to it. It's like DVD menu awkwardness. That's a descriptor someone's probably never used. And it looks rough as hell. Just runs really like it's the worst game on a technical level, but it's got a weird charm to it. Like it doesn't play well, but it's got a decent story. It's got a charm to it. There's like a hub area. It's very different. Like this game is completely different than all the other games here, right? You've got like a hub village where you actually do quests of people and build them up and like upgrade their buildings and their restaurants and stuff. And so it's got some really cool stuff to it, like deep recipe and crafting systems, really cool things. It's just a shame that the game itself plays really crappy. Like really, really crappy. So much so that this is going to be ranked pretty low.
Okay.
The charm is not enough to save a game that plays like a DVD menu. I cannot.
Charm's not enough to save the game that plays like a DVD menu. That's going to be in their promotional material.
I wanted to love this game. This game even has like a bestiality joke in it. Like it's weird, right?
Oh,
I've got a screenshot of it. I thought about bringing it up. Anyway.
Not a huge dog, but yeah, go on.
No. All right.
You thought he was called a huge dog because he was big. You're wrong. Go on.
It's not Red Rocket Odyssey. All right.
Okay. Whoa.
This game is going. I can't put this in anything but the F tier. Like,
Whoa. So
it's
wait,
bad.
do people like this game?
No.
Oh, then
I
why
just-
is it controversial?
No, I didn't. I don't think I said it was.
You did. You said it's going to be controversial like my other Odyssey pick.
Oh no, I was just joking. I was
Okay.
just making a bad joke. I can't believe you remember that thing from like 5 minutes ago. All right, so Frane's Dragon's Odyssey is going above the other games in the F tier, but it's
Okay.
still a
So
horrible
the zoomed
game.
in games are the worst, and then the weird DVD menu game. So
Yeah.
the DVD menu game, you'd rather play a DVD menu game than these zoomed in games. Okay, there you
This game could have actually been really good if it didn't play so poorly. Anyway, all right, next game. Whew, how are we going? All right, we're getting there.
go. We're getting there.
Can't believe we're doing this.
We're doing
Ghost
it.
Sync.
doing
Ghost
it.
Sync.
We're too deep
Ghost
now.
Sync. So I actually talked about this game
Oh,
on
we're
the
back
show.
again. We're back again.
That's weird because this game's a pretty like new game.
Audio listeners, we're back to
But see, there's a
scrolling
skip-
over the overmap.
See, there's a skip button
Yeah,
now.
I'll press
though,
that. I'll press
so-
the skip button.
Anyway,
we
this
go.
this game
Okay, looks
is
alright.
well. I've talked about this game on the show. This is the game with the boy that's trapped in a dog as a ghost spirit, and Mike kept talking about whether or not like there was an ending where you end up like matching up with the ghost dog boy.
That's right. Yeah.
And that does happen. Like he gets his body back, and so they match up. But this is actually, from what I can tell, the only EXE Create game where the main character is actually female. All the rest are male.
That's so bad.
It is bad. It's a Japanese
so
game. What can I say? So this game actually has a really neat skill tree system, which is really strange for other EXE Create. Like they don't have it where you've actually got a full skill tree like Diablo style for each character, and it's pretty in depth. So there's a lot of ways you can customize the characters. Similar guild based like central hub, similar to Chroma Quaternion. I can't believe I remember all this stuff. So I like that. I really like that central place you go back to. So it's got some really cool stuff. It's a decent game. It's just a little unremarkable outside of that. It's just another one of them, but I think it's a little better. So Ghost Sync, where am I ranking Ghost Sync? Ghost Sync
You spoke about this on episode 60.
I did. So it's a pretty recent game that I've completed. All right. This is going in the C tier, but it's going...
I'm not even showing the tier list.
In the C tier, but it's going at the top of the C tier.
Oh, top of the C tier, tell ya.
Top of the C tier.
Top of the C tier.
People are going to get so sick of it.
I know, they're going to be so angry.
They were so sick of it the first time.
Our one Irish fan is so pissed right now.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. All right. Next game, and I don't know how to say this one. Illusion of Lapis.
Wait, no, you skipped the game.
No, that was Ghost Sync.
No, I got Justice Chronicles.
Oh, sorry. No, because I added those notes in last. So
Too bad.
All right,
We're doing Justice Chronicles.
All right, Justice Chronicles. All right, well then let's talk about Justice Chronicles. There, okay, right. All right, this game is the game that I completed yesterday.
Whoa.
So this is the most, not counting the one that just came out, this is the most recent Kemco game. It came out in December.
So it's not the most recent game.
I'm saying excluding that. On this list,
Okay,
I'm kind of talking about in the realm of this list.
I get you.
So this is made by Hitpoint. On the show, I talked about, and my initial impressions were, this game's not that good. And then as I got into it, I found out this game's actually pretty good. So pretty good. Very solid. Easily the hardest completion out of any Kemco game so far on Xbox.
Oh, yeah, you're confused about this, weren't you?
I thought I'd screwed myself out. I took like 50 hours to beat this game 100%. Like this game has so much stuff, but you have to craft every single item and collect every single thing, and you generally don't do that.
Oh, I hate that
stuff. But it's also you have to farm for the items to craft all the stuff. So a lot of farming. I'm not talking about that so much. I'm talking about the game itself as like just standard progression. It's actually pretty good. It's got an interesting story. There's a lot of it. It's a pretty damn long game. This game was actually ported to 3DS as well quite a while ago.
Yes,
so this is a pretty old game.
I did see that when I was trying to find the B-roll for it. I'm like, wait, this is a 3DS game? Some of these games are like a Vita game as well?
Yeah, so a few were ported to 3DS. This is one of the more well-known Kemco games because of that. I don't know if it ever received a physical release. It might just been like a 3DS eShop one. But pretty tough challenge as well. This game, like some of the super bosses are pretty damn tough.
And this is with the easy
content.
mode DLC?
I don't remember. Yeah, there is a double damage. Yeah, even with that, they're pretty
So you
tough.
bought that and it still was a challenge?
Yes.
Damn.
And if you don't have that, this game would definitely be a nut. But sometimes a good challenge is good. This game has really good music, like really crazy good music. Almost like a lot of it is very Nier-esque, which is weird.
That's a big compliment.
Well, Nier-esque in terms of its style, it's definitely not at that level, but it's of the style, like of that kind of like haunting nature. Really good music. I think this is a great game. So where am I placing this game?
Where are you going to place it? You got a nice slope going on here at the moment. I like it.
Oh, thank you. I like my slope. This game is going, Justice Chronicles is going in the B tier at the top of the B tier.
Top of the B tier for you.
Top? I'm not going to keep doing that.
Yeah, you are.
Justice Chronicles is a really good, I'd say a really good Switch purchase. Like you'd get a lot of value out of it.
50 hours.
Looks pretty good, like sprite work wise as well. No overworld, but I think the way they do it's good.
Oh, there's no overworld. Okay.
No, but the way they do it is actually pretty cool. So if there was an overworld, it'd probably actually be way more annoying to complete than it was. So, all right, let's go back to that game that I thought was next, which is Illusion of Lephalsia. If
Well
Mike
said,
was here,
well said.
he would say Illusion of Lephalus, I am sure.
Yeah, he would definitely say that.
So this game, this fucking game. All
So
right.
this is the other type of intro that they have, where it just opens up on text, like
Oh, yeah.
slowly, like boop boop boop.
This game's pretty trash. I'm just putting it out there. It's pretty trash. This is one of my least liked.
He's talking to a beast monster. What are you talking about?
This game is just weird with anthropomorphic characters out the
Cougar.
arse. Like this game, and you never get used to it. Like,
And it's voice
just
acted.
always weird.
I sure am, Cougar.
That's right. I forgot this one was voice acted. That's
I
super
actually-
weird.
I heard
that is
this one.
super weird.
When I was collecting the B-roll, my whole experiences with all these games are just the B-roll.
I forgot this
And
is
I'm like,
voice acted.
whoa, this is voice acted, this game?
I think this may be the only one on this list.
It's
that
the only
is.
one that I noticed. Yeah.
I think I'd probably turn the voice acting off, to be honest. But anyway, this game is bottom of the barrel exit crate. Like, I did not like this game at all. Just lots of weird shit going on. There are some funny jokes, because I remember, like, I always take random screenshots on Xbox, and I remember actually going back and I saw take some screenshots of this game. So there's some funny stuff going on. Had a similar grid-based system to Asdivine Hearts that I talked about, like 5x5 grid. This one's a bit different. It's like weird shapes and stuff. But honestly, there's no mini-map either. Like, I hate that in these games if they don't have it. Honestly, don't bother
I'm a
with
simple
this
man.
game.
Give me a mini-map and don't play like a DVD menu.
Yes, don't bother with this game, honestly. There's way better exit crate and obviously hit point games and stuff. So, Illusion of
Where are you putting it?
Lephalus
Where are you putting it then?
is going in the E tier.
Oh, filling out the E tier. These are all getting filled out quite nicely. I like
It's
it.
going.
I like
it's almost like someone has already
like
mapped
it.
these out and planned this.
No, you're doing this live as the show demands it.
So it's going in the middle of the E tier. Okay.
Beautiful.
All right, where I'm up to? We're up to 25. We're getting there. We're getting there. All right. Next game
We're getting somewhere.
is next game is Legend of the Tetrarchs. So this is another hit point game. What? No, this is not exit crate. This is hit point.
But I just find it funny that a lot of these games open up the same way. It's like first it was all the panning, and now the new thing is just the text, like the scrolling text or the anyway.
It gets the point across. So I actually don't mind if they open with text. But so this game is. I really tried hard to like this game. There's just so much dialogue in this game. Like more, I swear, way more than any other games. And the story wasn't that interesting. The game actually looks really nice. Like Hit Point
Yeah, it looks
again,
nice.
they do really nice sprite artwork. There is stuff to love in this game, but there's just so much dialogue, and the story's not interesting to me. So it was such a drag to get through. But they do give you like 9 party members to choose from. So there's actually,
Whoa.
unlike most games, they just give you 4 in these games we're talking about, and they actually give you a whole bunch. Same Carmina system or Carmina system as Crystal Ortha, where you find items in the world that you can equip as buffs and stuff. Plays like other hit point games, so nothing super unique battle system wise. There's so much dialogue and story to get through. It was a real drag. So I did not like this game, but it's still solid from a gameplay standpoint. It still looks nice. So Legend of the Tetrarchs is being ranked in the D tier
Oh,
at the end.
oh damn! I'm wanting to say top of the D tier.
No.
Why can't you put it in the E tier? Because then it'll be top of the E tier for you. So bottom of the D tier.
Oh,
That's
we've
what we
lost
do.
all our potential Irish Kemco fans.
Oh well, it's alright.
All right, next game. Liege Dragon. Liege Dragon.
Liege Dragon.
I completely forgot this game existed.
Liege Dragon. It needs to remind you of its name in the opening seconds.
Well, that's how the AI knows what game it's
I feel
compiling
like
for.
it's almost like just a script. So the script at the top says Liege Dragon, and then it's the writing, and then it just populates it like the AI.
I completely forgot this game. I'm like, what is this game? So when I downloaded it, I'm like, I couldn't remember a single thing about this game. I could not
awesome.
remember anything.
That's awesome.
And then I loaded it up, and it's got this weird smooth filter to it. You know, like SNES emulators have got these sometimes
Oh,
crappy
yeah.
filters
I hate
where they
those, but yeah, I
smooth
know
it.
a lot of people
It's
like that,
got
yeah.
that kind of feel to it, so I don't know if you can find it.
Yeah, I
It's
just skipped
got a
ahead, yeah.
smoothness to it.
I get you.
There's no overworld map, so it feels like really low effort as well. Just in general, just like I really can't think of anything more to say about this game.
It looks like just the bought a bunch of assets, like tile assets, and just like
but I mean that's
smashed it out.
it doesn't look that much worse than most EXE games, to be
Oh.
honest. No, they generally kind of all have that tile style look to them, but the thing is that like this, some of their games can be memorable. This game obviously wasn't. I did not remember it all. So
literally
Liege
not.
Dragon
Literally not.
is going in the E tier.
Whereabouts?
It's going. I'm putting it there for me. It's going second in the E
Yeah, I
tier.
feel like you had it at the top and you've like changed it on the fly.
No. All right. Next game. Oh my god, we're getting through it. But guess what the next game
We're
is?
an hour and a half in, by the way.
Guess what the next game is, Integot?
Yeah, what is it?
Marenian Tavern Story, Paddy and the Hungry God. And
Oh.
immediately you was told this game looks very different than
Yeah, it looks
any of the
very
games
different.
previously talked about, with probably one exception.
Because it's
That
a
is-
Ridian game.
It is a Revenant game who made Blacksmith for the Sand Kingdom. And here's a memory quiz. Did I like Blacksmith for the Sand Kingdom, Integot?
I think you had a top of the A tier.
Top of the A tier. Guess what? Marenian Tavern Story is fucking awesome game. This game is
potentially
great.
better. Interesting.
I played this
Interesting.
game before Blacksmith Sand Kingdom. So it definitely released on Xbox earlier. I don't know from a mobile standpoint which game came out first. This game has a lot of stuff that Blacksmith was missing. So Blacksmith was, you go out to dungeons and stuff, but it didn't have any, like, your hub was just like a menu of, like a picture of houses and shops and stuff. This has like a full village hub that you explore. You can see on the screen now. Has cities you can walk around and talk to NPCs. It just feels much more alive. And this game has just the coolest like hook, like the way once you keep playing. So, but unlike Blacksmith, you're a blacksmith. You're building stuff. In this game, you're running a tavern.
You're a
This-
tavern. Go on, sorry.
You're running a tavern and you're cooking recipes and putting them out for sale each week, or out for a menu. And like, to give you an idea, there's 136 different ingredients, 661 different recipes.
Oh my god.
And I had to bloody cook every single one of them to get my achievements. I think I put like 60 hours in this game or something. But I love this game. It's definitely not like this game. It's not going to be for everyone, but I think this is criminally underlooked. I think it's great. It's got cool characters. As like Blacksmith, you go out to dungeons and explore them and fight enemies. Its battle systems like a grid, like 3x3 grid, and your attacks will do different spaces. A cool battle system. Just really, really good game. 7 different party members. Just tough optional super bosses. Marenian Tavern Story is absolutely great. This is. Oh, sorry. Where's my screen going?
An F tier. You've got it sitting. That would be funny.
There we go.
I've got it.
No.
F tier.
Marenian Tavern Story is S tier.
Whoa. Is it
This
top of the S
game,
tier to you? Or?
it's staying where it is. It's second in S tier.
Okay.
Go away, mosquito. I'm on the
So
fourth
you still
floor.
have-
How the fuck are mosquitoes getting up?
So
to
you
the
still
fourth
got
floor?
Armored Emeth as the number one.
Armed Emeth is number 1. Marenian Tavern
Also,
Story is
you're
number 2.
like half doxing yourself as you're doing the podcast. But yeah, go on.
What?
Didn't you say you're on the 4th floor?
Yeah, I don't care. Fourth floor.
Hey, they've eliminated now the people.
I think I've talked about that before. Marenian Tavern Story, highly recommended. So if anybody I'll sum it up very quickly at the end. But basically, like, this is a game people should buy.
Okay.
So
Okay.
really, really good. All right. Next game, number 28.
Yes.
Miden Tower.
Surely
I
it's
don't know.
Miden Tower.
Miden. I don't know. I say Miden. Anyway, this game is, surprise, surprise, another EXE Create game. But it's actually a different take on it. They changed things up. This is all set within the same tower, like in a really weird way. Like
Mother.
there's like actual like towns and villages within the tower itself, but the setting is in the tower. But there's one thing this game is super memorable for. There's a wall waifu.
What?
One of your party members is a wall that turns into a girl. And like she can also be in wall form where she's got pretty... I don't know. Please tell me you can randomly skip ahead a bit and...
Oh, they'll say.
I don't know.
You have to call it out. I don't know. Like,
I don't know. Like,
I'm not familiar with my wall waifus as much as you.
Anyway, I don't think you're going to find it. But
They
basically,
don't reveal the wall waifu until beyond 15 minutes in the game.
the wall waifus are absolutely hilarious. It's actually really funny. It's so ridiculous. You actually upgrade.
This is really like they're like, fuck, who else are we going to put in the party? Let's just throw ideas up on a wall. Wall! Like, that's it. Let's make the wall a party member.
You can upgrade your wall waifu by like attaching different blocks
Bricks?
to her. Yes, I think it's
can
bricks. I
paint
can't
her?
remember.
You can put wallpaper on her, trimming.
It's actually really funny. Like it makes me remember
my
this game,
God.
which it is funny. Like as I said, like these games are translated really well, where the dialogue is actually pretty funny.
Imagine someone translating this. Okay, what? All right, crack my fingers. What am I translating? Oh, fucking wall party member.
Man,
Jesus.
I wish you could bring up an image. That's all right. You can Google it and laugh your ass off. But this game is memorable because of that, and it's a decent game in general. It's an EXE Create game, but it's not super great or anything. So I'm going to place Miden Tower in
I reckon it's Miden.
C tier, smack bang in the middle of C tier.
Oh, in the middle.
If you like your wall waifus,
Miden in the middle.
If you like your wall waifus, there's a game right there for you.
I googled wall waifu. I couldn't find anything.
I
And
didn't
now
think-
also my Google
I was
history is crazy.
No, I was thinking you would Google Miden Tower, not wall waifu.
No, I did that. I Miden Tower
yeah,
wall. and I
anyway,
found-
I'll-
Oh no, not Miden Tower. I did Tavern story. Oh, okay, shit.
Oh no. Yeah.
Wait. Hold up. Let's see if we can get this on the screen. Wall. Okay, Miden Tower wall. Wait, so the one in the main image is the wall?
Sorry, she. Wait, where am I?
Wait, is it like this? Let me just.
Yeah. She's the one on the left of the cover art.
Alright, I'm gonna totally break
the
the
wall.
thing for a second, but I'll just drag it in anyway. Continue. So this
Yeah,
is
that's
the
it.
wall?
Yeah, that's it. The wall waifu.
Oh my god.
It's when you first see it, because I had no idea. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? But
That's pretty funny.
it is funny. So
That
these
is pretty
games have a lot of humor to them. So thank God. All right, next game, number 29.
Yes.
We see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Hey, I'm getting pretty close with my 2 hour and change.
Oh
prediction.
yeah. I was yeah. Anyway. All right.
Ambitious.
Monochrome Order, outside of the Frane Dragon's Odyssey action RPG, this is probably the most of like turn-based JRPGs here, the most unique game. This game's just really, first really weird, but also ends up being a fantastic game. So it has a really morose, like subdued feel to it, which kind of, not the same, but kind of gave me a bit of a Secret of Evermore kind of feeling to it. Like this game isn't super bright and colorful and stuff, which Secret of Evermore isn't. And it's really unique in that it's got a massive branching story path through the game. So there's multiple different endings, and depending on, you make judgments in the game, depending on your choices and judgments, it impacts the entire way the game plays out. It's like completely different. This is a hit point game, it's not EXE Create. Lots of replayability because of that, like lots of different endings, really cool, actually just really good game in general. And its battle system's really just fun, simple. It's side on, it's not first person like other hit point games. Has like a skill orb system, so you get different skill orbs and you equip them as a pair based on the makeup of the pair. It gives you different abilities, so it's like you're creating spells from two different items and stuff like that. Really cool. The only downside to this game, honestly, is the character portraits and the character art, and you see it in the cover art, it's just really poor. It's like, it's weird because all the other artwork that you see is generally pretty good in these games and Hit Point and everything. It's like they reached out to some amateur on DeviantArt and commission their like the character portraits. You saw it flashed up for a second in
Yeah.
the image before. It just looks really weird. Like it's nothing like the sprite artwork's actually pretty nice. As I said, like it's a downplayed color palette in this one, but just like the character artwork. So it's really off-putting when you see it in store on the Switch, and you're like, that game looks like it's trash, but it's actually a really good game. Like
Look, it's a certain art style. It's not my cup of tea. It's definitely not the anime style of all the rest of them. Like it's like a pastel kind of, not pastel. It's like a what do they call it? Charcoal almost style to it. You know what I mean?
Like the cover art's one of the better examples. Some of the in-game portraits are really bad. So I don't know what they're doing there because the game is really good. So Monochrome Order, don't let that put you off. Monochrome Order is a really good game, I think. Monochrome Order is being ranked in the B tier.
Whoa, B tier.
It is going second in the B tier.
Second.
Monochrome Order is a great game. Really recommend it. Really unique. Lots of just like even decisions you make will impact what stores stock have and what character party members. There's lots of party members. What party members join? Like it's really cool. All right. Next, we have a game I've talked about on the podcast before, a long time ago, though. It is Monster Viator. I don't know, never know how to say it. Monster Viator. How would you say that?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the way you said it.
Monster
was right.
Viator. This game is shockingly good. This is a really good, damn good game. Like, it's hit points, so their games are generally way better than like the bulk of the games Kemco are putting out, but this game is really good. Like we put this in our Big Year in Awards nominee for like best small game.
I saw that. You did that. You spoke about this on episode 41 of the podcast.
So this is one of the best JRPGs I've played in the last couple of years. I think this is a fantastic game. Very similar to Crystal Ortha, a game I talked about earlier, visually and mechanically. But in this one, you actually go around and recruit monsters. Not like Pokemon, you actually recruit them as party members. And you also have your characters that are on battle as well. And there's like heaps of them. Like you can get heaps of monsters, secret ones and stuff like that. Really, really good game. I think it looks gorgeous. Like really nice sprite artwork. Lots of cool side content. Again, like it's the kind of game that's really tarnished by the preconceptions people have about Kemco games.
Which
Now,
I'm kind of looking at the tier list though, not totally unfounded, right?
not totally unfounded,
Yeah.
but these are the games that it really impacts. Like, I wish Hit Point was being published by someone else simply because of that reason.
Yeah.
I actually I enjoy my time playing through most of these games, but this is the kind of game that's really hurt by it. I don't know if you can skip ahead a little bit.
Yeah,
more.
I was
don't
just
know if
about to
there's
do that. Yeah.
Any kind of battle, probably not. But
Oh, probably not. I feel like a lot of the. Oh no, here we go.
here we go. Yeah, so
I like the transition actually.
like
Looks
Hit
cool.
Point, like really nice, just like simple first-person RPGs, but just really cool battle systems. You can see there's one of the monsters as your party member there. I just really love this game. This is ranked really high. So where am I
Oh,
ranking it?
Okay. Well, you're determining it on the fly, of course. Let's go.
Of course, this is an A tier Monster
Oh,
Hunter,
A tier.
and it's going at the top of
Top
the
of the
A tier.
Top of the A tier. I like how you said you're not going to do it again.
I didn't say it in that accent. All right, we have 6 games left.
Oh yes.
All right.
We're really bumping up to the 2-hour mark. This is awesome.
All right. Next game. Revenant Dogma.
Yes, it is.
More like Revenant Dog shit. I hate this game so much.
Such a dumb joke that I found really funny, actually.
Nah, look,
The timing was great. Revenant Dogma. More like
This-
Revenant. Anyway, go on.
so this and there's 2 games here. I can't remember which is the sequel to the other one, to be honest. Like I tried looking it up, I couldn't remember. Revenant Dogma, and we'll talk about Revenant Saga next.
I reckon it's the Dogma first, but I'll do the Googling.
I think Dogma is
Saga
and
is such a sequel kind of name.
I
you
think
know what I mean?
Saga is a sequel because I think it's got like the nicer quality of life stuff. Anyway,
Okay.
Revenant Dogma, the problem with this game is it's actually got a nice like PlayStation style 3D battle system, right? It's not super fun, but it's all right, right? And it looks good. It's got a transformation mechanic. It's I think that one's got transformation mechanic. Yeah, it does. So the problem with this game is it's just a real chore to get through. This has the most boring dungeons designs ever, and there's no mini map. But this is like the biggest offender of that. You like, I just can't know. I don't know where the fuck I'm going, and it's just like it's really. I hate this game, and I know that like I go on True Achievements all the time, and I know quite a lot of people on there, and everyone I've seen comment on this game when they finish it hated this game. Like it is. I don't think this is a good game at all.
So in all accounts, Revenant Saga is the first one, and Revenant Dogma is the sequel.
Well, interestingly, Dogma came out first on Xbox. Saga came out ages after, so they released it out of order then. Anyway, I don't like Revenant
as
Dogma.
you said, like it could be wrong, but I even saw people talk about Revenant Dogma reused a bunch of assets from Revenant Saga.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, and I'm looking at it. It looks definitely... Well, Dogma was a Android and iOS game, according to Wiki, which you also said was not right.
Yeah, there's a lot of misinformation there. That's all I'm saying.
And then, yeah, Saga was a PS3, iOS, and Android game. So, yeah, I mean, take it. But look, like, I've seen people comment. It definitely sounds like Saga was the first one.
Yeah, okay. So, Revenant Dogma is being ranked in...
Well, let me take it. Yeah, let me take it.
Revenant Dogma is being ranked in the E tier at the end.
Oh, the end of the E.
Revenant Dogma.
End of the E.
Shit. All right.
Shit. Can we change that for like the time coding? Revenant Dog shit.
No. Let's
you
keep
have that
it
much
official.
respect. You have that much
Let's keep it
respect for
official. All right.
All right.
Revenant Saga. All right, this one.
Revenant Dogma. Let's go over it again.
A little better, I think, than Revenant Dogma, but honestly the same shit, like the same problems. Like again, it's got a PlayStation era 3D battle system, which is cool, but like the same thing. No mini map. Like it's exploring the dungeons. The dungeons are so horrible. Like the things, the mini map makes so much of a difference when you're walking around these cookie cutter dungeons that have nothing interesting in them. No. I don't think there's a single puzzle in any of these dungeons in these games, in these two. So it just makes walking around, and I don't know, like, at least they tried with the 3D graphics and the battle system. Like, more than a game I'll get to pretty soon.
Okay.
And honestly, both of these games offer a bit more challenge than most games, so that could
At least
be a
it's
good
not
thing for some
zoomed
people.
in. It looks horrible the way he moves around. He looks like a pin. Just like a walking animation.
No, I think this one may be a grid-based one, that's why.
Okay.
So some EXE Create games have like 8-way and they aren't grid-based, some are.
But it still looks horrible. Like you're moving like like you're doing moonwalks everywhere. You're like barely walking and you're sprinting all over the place.
That's pretty much par for the course of most games, to be honest. Yeah, like again, like these are pretty budget RPGs. All right, Revenant Saga is being placed also in the E tier, but I'm going to chuck it ahead of Revenant Dogma.
Oh, okay. So not at the end of the E tier.
Second to last in the
penultimate of the E tier.
Okay, all right. Next game. Can't believe we're nearly through this. All right.
We've done well.
Ruinverse.
Ruinverse.
This game is actually pretty good. Has the same skill tree. Again, it's an EXE Create game. If you can't tell from the footage, if you're watching,
it looks exactly like it's great.
Like they're all the same. Has the same skill tree system as Chroma Quaternion, which I think was Chroma Quaternion. Anyway, like, man, it's so hard to keep
Let's
track
redo this goddamn tier list and get it right.
From the beginning. Basically, skill tree system, which is always cool. So, okay, I've got more ways to actually upgrade my characters, more than just, okay, I can upgrade equipment, so that's cool. You can actually have 5 party members in battle, which is neat. Like, usually it's just 4 in the EXE Create games, so it's always nice when they're a bit different. You can equip weapon skins that have, like, passive buffs, so that's, again, like it's similar to what we said earlier with some games, but again, the small changes are what make these games. Has this weird bloom style visual effect though, and it's not as obvious in. Maybe it is.
I noticed that. Like that was when I was looking through the B-roll. I'm like, oh, that's kind of weird. The way.
And I'm like, are they trying to? Obviously, using the same engine. Are they just trying to like try different things?
Fuck around with it. They're
more unique. So you can see this game has 8-way controls, unlike the other one and stuff like that. This game's worth picking up on sale. I think it's pretty good. It's actually, it's one of those games, but sometimes those games, they're a bit better than others, and Ruinverse is one of them. So,
okay, there we go.
All right, but again, it's not gonna,
It's not going to be an
World
S
on
tier.
Fire.
It's not threatening the S tier.
No. This is going in the C tier,
Oh, okay.
and it's going second to last in the C tier.
Penultimate
So,
in the C tier.
penultimate in the C tier. All right. I think we've got 3 left.
3 left.
God.
Oh my god,
Oh
we're
my
getting there.
God.
We're getting to
3.
the end.
3.
This
You,
is,
I'm so
incredible.
sorry. I'm so sorry for this.
it's almost
in-
like
in hindsight.
11 p.m. our time.
All right,
know.
and what a trio of games we got. All right, Seek Hearts.
Yes. Seek Hearts. It sounds like a yeah. Okay.
I had to load this one up to remember what the fuck it was because I just couldn't remember. And it turns out this one is actually a little unique. So the main character is actually an android in this, and you actually equip like chips and a core to him and stuff, which is very different from any of the other games on this list. But it ultimately breaks down to it's just a fancy way to say equipment, but it's cool. Like, you know, like they're trying different things. I forgot to mention, not that it's so important. Oh, we're back to the
We're
next
back
one.
to the fanning. Go on.
A lot of these games, XC games, have like a status screen. You can also view like the likes and dislikes and hobbies of the characters, which is a nice
okay.
flavor text.
Weird.
Your main character's an android, so he has like 0. It literally says no hobbies and no likes. So I thought that was pretty funny.
So really like relatable character. This is great.
Actually has a bit of unique battle system. Like it's still side-on turn-based, but you've got like I don't know exactly what they're called, but like ability orbs or ability points, kind of like Fallout, original Fallout, where you know, certain skills will take up certain amount of ability points, and that's quite different from, you know, I'm just using my MP or EP or whatever, you know, from other games. So they tried a few different things here, but ultimately it just ends up still being another XC game. Like, this is what we're in for, you know? Like, and sometimes, like, the game I'm playing through at the moment, the new game just came out, is like this. It's the same. The new game has a girl that turns into a sword or something. So, anyway. All right, so Seek Hearts is being ranked in the D tier.
Oh, well. Get the tier list up.
Oh, yeah, I forgot you need to do that. And it's going second to last.
What is the pattern here? This is penultimate. This is the new top of the morning. The penultimate.
All right, the next game. I've been waiting
it.
for this one. Sephirothic Stories.
Sephirothic Stories. That's a mouthful.
It is a mouthful, and oh my god, the mosquito's back. All right. Okay. This is actually a 3D game. Like, you walk around in 3D. I don't know if you could... Oh
Yeah,
my
I just
God,
skipped
God,
ahead. Oh yeah, it's 3D.
But, unfortunately...
But it looks like a DS 3D game.
Dude, like, it looks like 64 textures. This game looks like trash.
Oh, I think 64 is worse than this, to be honest.
No, but like the blurry textures, I don't know if you can see it walking around. Like, it's got that same
Yeah.
blurriness to its textures.
Yeah.
And this game just has abysmal controls. They're so bad. Like, I was in awe playing this game. I'm thinking, how can someone have playtested this game? And, well, obviously they released this thing so quickly, but at least they tried something different with 3D and stuff, but they clearly failed because the controls... I don't know. There's a clip I asked you if you could bring up, and I remember recording this as I was playing
Do you want me to bring it up now? Or?
Yeah, please. Just to show off the collision detection. This clip is of me playing this game, trying to walk up some stairs, right? So obviously, you know, I'm walking around and then I'm about to walk upstairs. You think I'd just walk them? Look at me. That's the collision detection. Try playing through 20 to 25 hour game with that kind. Probably shorter this game.
But wait, is it it's not tile based, so you can actually move. Oh wow.
So you like and the whole game's like I have
the movement is so bad. What the hell?
This game is I dislike this game on such a fundamental level. It
looks
also,
like they've coded this 3D stuff like by hand. Just the way it moves as well. It's very odd.
Its battle system's okay. This battle system's not bad, but this game has some of the worst dialogue moments of. Probably it has the worst dialogue moments in this list.
Oh, really?
There are little moments where, like, the villain will make a joke that your main character loves his little sister.
Okay. That's
like, weird. No joke. Oh, he's the kind of guy that only likes his little sister, and all these kind of weird shit. It's just really awkward. This game, I feel sorry for the person translating this, being like, what the fuck? Like, I have to write this in English? Like, This game is just terrible. Like, I hate this game for passion. I do not recommend this
Translator's
game.
just like, fuck this. I'm going to rewrite this game.
I just don't understand. This game is just like, because there's some elements, like the artwork, like the 2D artwork's okay, it's all right, you know, it's XC but it looks all right. And then just the gameplay's like dog shit, you know? That's my favorite word today, clearly.
Yeah, it is, dog shit.
So
That's the title episode.
So guess what?
67.5 dog shit.
Sephirothic Stories.
Yes.
Bottom of the
Bottom.
F tier.
Whoa. Worst game. Worst Kemco game potentially. We've got one more to go, but it's the favorite right now. It's the solid favorite. Wow. I can't even say Sephiroth. Like, is Sephiroth like a common thing? I didn't.
Sephiroth is like it's like angelic. It's
really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's a common term, but obviously, if you use the term Sephiroth in any RPG, that's ridiculous.
You're kind of drawing to, especially if it's ranked officially the worst Kemco game so far.
So again, similar to Revenant Dogma, when I saw people playing this game, commenting just like, "What the hell is this game?" Like, it is horrible, absolutely horrible. Anyway, last game. I can't believe we got through this. Oh my fucking god, we got
2 hours later.
All right.
2 hours later.
Okay. All right. Wizards of Brandel.
Yes. Oh, I don't have B-roll for this.
Oh,
No,
that's fine.
I do.
You're missing out. All right.
I do.
I couldn't remember what this game was as well. I'm like, oh, that's right. Even watching the B-roll reminds me now. Okay, you play as a wizard and his house blew up. That's right. So it's actually has a cool beginning now. I remember. But anyway, other than that,
Oh shit.
Other than that, the game's pretty forgettable. Again, it's another EXE Create game. There's no world map in this one either. Actually has a bad frame rate for like a 2D game. Like, it's just like has an awkward frame rate. I don't know. It's just has like a pretty boring card-based equipment system as well. They tried something different, but it's just like ends up being just like meh. And I don't know. I feel this is bottom of the barrel EXE Create.
Whoa. Okay.
I just don't. Well,
Sephirothic Stories is stressing out right now.
I'm talking like they're 2D ones, like bottom of that style, of this style.
Of the 3D one, which is the worst of all.
Anyway, like of these kind of ones that people see and they're just all clones of each other. This is pretty low there.
Oh,
so
okay.
I rank Wizards of Brandel.
Oh wait! This is the final one. We need to get the tier list up.
I pause,
Okay.
waiting for you.
Okay.
Wizards of Brandel is going in the E tier.
E tier.
And it is going around the middle of the E tier. So I'm going to chuck it third in the E tier.
Very good.
And there we go. I've ranked 36 Kemco RPGs in our official, I think it's the world's first Kemco RPG tier list. I think.
Oh, it's got to be. No one's as crazy as us.
On YouTube, at least. Like, people may, RPG Insanity, they may have done it and stuff. So all
Let's
I want to
see if we
say
can
is.
zoom in on this bad boy.
So first of all,
maybe I'm a bit too zoomed in now. What do you reckon?
First of all, thank you, Integot, for putting up with that.
Oh no, it was fun.
And I just want to say as well that this is, and I know from the timestamp of post for this, but it's like, okay, what games are worth buying, right? The Kemco publish, you see them on the eShop. I would say anything that's in the first 3 tiers, you're gonna get a good game, right? As you get lower, you know, obviously, then the fatigue starts to fit in. But if you look at the colours there, just look at the quality of the hit point games that Hit Point put out compared to EXE Create. It's kind of wild.
Yeah, no, it's
kind of wild.
It's a sea of green at the bottom.
So
if
if
you
you
get to the top,
so if you see that, you know, a game is made by Hit Point, because generally the trailers will be like EXE Create, then it'll show Kemco, then it'll show EXE Create, or Kemco, then Hit Point. If you see it's a Hit Point developed game, you're probably going to get a good game. EXE Create, you don't, like, it's much more up in the air. But if you like Asdivine Hearts and those games that are in those, you know, B tier, they're solid games. So there we go. That's the Kemco.
I find it
tier
interesting
list.
that you got the monochrome order, which you didn't like the art and stuff like that, but that's a B tier.
But everything else about the game is awesome.
Yeah.
So I mentioned, like, that game is great. It's the only downside is the portrait art.
So if you're a big RPG fan, how deep would you go into this tier list?
If you're a big RPG fan, honestly still probably only go to C tier unless you love the way that Kemco's the EXC create games specifically, and the people. If anyone's found their way over here from RPG Insanity, the website that's dedicated to Kemco games, the English community, they're going to love these games way more than others.
Yeah.
But I hope that they at least understand that I do love a lot of these games.
Please understand.
I do love a lot of these games, but I think even they would understand, especially like some of those lower exit rate. Like at some point, the games are just like so similar. It's hard to remember exactly which is which.
Zoomed in. I remember these games very clearly.
And nobody should ever play Sephirothic Stories, in my opinion.
Okay. So then the mic, and again, if you do have any feedback from RPG Insanity, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Directed at Mike at bigwigpod.com. That's Mike at bigwigpod. All feedback. He will be happily listening to the feedback. So if Mike was to play one of these games, what would he play? Where would he cut off on the tier list?
I think he would love Marenian Tavern Story or Blacksmith. I think he'd probably really like Blacksmith Sand Kingdom because I know he loves Stardew. So, and just a huge shout out to that RPG Insanity community for the amazing guides and resources, because these games, there's not much information out there about them, and they compile a lot of that, and they've helped me out a lot. So
big shout out. I am now adding on my Deku deals, which I religiously follow. I'm adding Armored Emeth to see when it pops up. So I want to see how much it is normally. Okay, it hasn't dropped in price. Okay, there you go. It's $22.50 in Australia.
It's still fairly new, that game, within the last 12 months. So
I'm gonna add it to the. I want to see what the DLC is. Experience × 3, no encounters. For $3.
I generally don't get the no encounters unless
Can't
it's
level up.
No, you turn them on when you're just exploring to find secrets and stuff. So.
Oh, okay.
But I generally don't get that because whatever. Unless
there's no Metacritic
really
for this game.
Dude, there's Justice Chronicles, that game that just came out. I could not find a list of accessories that I need to collect all of them in the entire internet, even RPG Insanity. I could not find anything that didn't exist. And that game came out in 3DS. Nah, I'm too lazy. Maybe I should.
Kemco should genuinely get us to review their games. You should review their games because they don't have any reviews on Metacritic at all. It's crazy.
I think Nintendo Life always push their stuff, but
no, I haven't found anything on Armored Emeth. There's 2 reviews.
No, I'm saying other stuff. I always see articles from them.
Okay.
One thing I'll say as well is that with reviewing this stuff, I thought about reviewing some EXE Create games that I played recently, like Ghost Sync, and it's I'd like to review them for people that have played these kind of EXE Create games before, but explain them from scratch. I'm just look, they're JRPGs. If you played Final Fantasy, you kind of know what you're getting for, your classic Final Fantasies. So,
all right. Well, do we want to quickly run through what the list is, and then we'll start to wrap up the show?
Do we have to?
All right. Well, let's just do the top then. Let's do maybe the top 3 tiers, given that you said that they're the ones that people should, if you're going to play any of these.
All right, let me get close to see.
What do we got in S tier?
S tier, we've got Armed or Armored Emeth and Marenian Tavern Story, Paddy and the Hungry God.
Yep. And then in A tier,
we have Monster Viator, Blacksmith for the Sand Kingdom, and Crystal Ortha.
In the B tier, and this will be the final tier that we go over. You can check out the whole tiers on YouTube.
We have Justice Chronicles, Monochrome Order, Chroma Quaternion, Asdivine Hearts II, Asdivine Hearts, and Asdivine Saga.
Yeah, all with the same intro as those last 3 games.
Yeah.
Wow, well, this is a bit of a mammoth effort. That was that was good fun.
Fucking Christ!
How long did you say it was going to be?
I knew it would be over an hour. No, but I thought it'd be within 1 to 2 hours. I didn't think it'd be longer than 2.
Oh, okay. And I said 2 hours and 40 minutes. So we're pretty much average. Our guesses out was 2 hours on the dot. So
that's pretty good. All right.
A lot
of games. 36 games to rank. Oh my god.
A lot of games. All right. Well, let's get to the wrap up of the show. So next week we will be back to regular programming. Mike will be back on the show. We need Mike as we are covering Game of Summer of the Year 95 nominee, Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy's Kong Quest, which we've both played and we've both actually done a retrospective on the show. So we need Mike to be here to lead that part.
Yeah.
This is the shaming section to Mike if he's watching at his special destination and he's at.
We'll also have a chat about PlayStation VR 2 as well. So.
Yes, and whatever other news comes up during the week. But with that, bye-bye.
See ya.